Chapter 55:24. The Taiji diagram shone brightly, enveloping the sharp lightning bolt. However, Lin Xian furrowed his brows, because he felt that the lightning bolt was too powerful, as if it was going to tear his Taiji diagram apart. What was that? Lin Xian was surprised. No wonder it could make the old Qilin fail. He snorted coldly. The demonic qi on his body was incomparably terrifying, forming a demonic cage. Suppress! A powerful force suppressed it. Only then did he suppress the other party. Then he waved his sleeve and put it away. In the next moment, the old Qilin arrived nearby. He said in surprise, "Young master, what is that?" Obviously, he wanted to see it. Lin Xian smiled mysteriously. "It's nothing. It's just a small thing. Why? Do you want it?" A trace of shocking light appeared in his eyes. Murong Qingqing and Yan Ryu also took a step forward, forming a cage. As long as Lin Xian gave the order, the two of them would attack. Seeing this aura, the old Qilin was shocked. She quickly shook her head. "I'm not interested. The banquet is waiting for you. Let's go." After saying that, the old Qilin led the way. Although there was a smile on his face, his heart was ferocious. Damn it, that thing is obviously a treasure. However, he had no choice. He didn't have the confidence to defeat Lin Xian alone. Moreover, there were two double champions beside him. Both of them might have extreme weapons on them. So he didn't dare to ask any more questions. Lin Xian and the other two flew towards the Island of Bones. Along the way, Lin Xian investigated and finally saw the thing he obtained. It was a fragment like a weapon fragment. It was very sharp, and he didn't know what kind of metal it was made of. The blood on it actually contained the power of the demonic path. This surprised Lin Xian. He felt that it was very similar to his illusory demon scripture. Lin Xian's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that this thing was related to the demon emperor? It was really surprising. From the looks of it, His Highness Sea Demon must have obtained it from the demon sea. However, the other party had already fallen. If he wanted to ask, it seemed that he could only wait until the matter here was over, and then go to the Sea Demon clan to ask. Let's see if there are any other weapon fragments. Perhaps he could find something related to the demon emperor. Thinking of this, Lin Xian took a deep breath and put this matter aside for the time being, because they had already arrived at White Bone Island. When they landed on the island, there were many people on it. When they saw Lin Xian, they were incomparably surprised. As expected, the other party had also come. Greetings to Lin Gongzi. Along the way, many clan heads of remote antiquity families and sects masters bowed to him one after another. The youngsters were curious. Was this Lin Wuti? For some of them, it was their first time seeing it. As expected, he was strong enough to be on equal footing with these top-notch seniors. In fact, he was even superior to those of the older generation. Lin Xian nodded and walked towards the depths of the island. Finally, a vast square appeared in front of them. There were many people sitting there. It seemed that the banquet was about to begin. Sitting on both sides below were the Mesozoic generation, as well as some of the top geniuses. Those sitting above were the clan heads and sects masters of top-notch sects and families. The most dazzling were the people of the Emperor clan. They were high and mighty, as if they were supreme kings. However, sitting in the middle of these Emperor clan people was a man dressed in black. He had a desolate aura on him. He should be from the barren tomb. After seeing Lin Xian arrive, the people in the hall all turned their heads to look at him. They all stared at Lin Xian. "You are Lin Wuti, right? You are indeed a young hero. Since you are here, please take a seat," Huang Qing said with a smile in the sky. He waved his sleeve, and 3 seats appeared on both sides below. Obviously, these seats were reserved for Lin Xian and the other two. However, many people frowned. This time, was he going to show Lin Xian who was in his power? One had to know that Lin Xian and the other two had extraordinary statuses. If Murong Qingqing and Yan Ryu were to sit in the lower seats, then it would be fine. After all, Many of the people here were from the Emperor clan and their clan heads. However, Lin Xian was different. Lin Xian wasn't just a genius of the younger generation. He was also the Divine Union's Alliance Master and the Triple Crown Champion. He was above everyone else. Letting him sit below, didn't this mean that his status was lower than those patriarchs? That was impossible. After all, even the clan heads of the Emperor clan had to be extremely polite in front of him. As for this arrangement, it was clear that Huang Qing had done it deliberately. It should be to target Lin Xian. How would Lin Wuti deal with it? Would he attack directly? The atmosphere in the hall changed instantly. Some people from the Divine Union stood up when they saw this. The dark red divine dragon snorted coldly. You guys are too ignorant. Don't you know the status of the Divine Union's chief? Baisusu also snorted. How dare you let our alliance master sit here? What's the meaning of this? Questioning voices rang out one after another. Countless people turned to look at Huang Qing and Lin Xian. Lin Xian stood there with his hands behind his back. The smile on his face had disappeared and a cold glint appeared in his eyes. He naturally knew that Huang Qing was trying to deal with him. Previously, a powerhouse had walked out of the desolate hill and stood on the side of the purple mansion. In the end, he had been injured by Luo Yinyang's 6 paths of reincarnation. Therefore, Huang Qing had appeared to target him. At the very least, he had to intimidate him. However, Lin Xian wasn't a pushover. Not just anyone could intimidate him. Today, he wanted to see whether the person in front of him had the qualifications to intimidate him. The Phoenix clan head spoke up. Letting Lin Gongzi sit below was really against the rules. Many people gasped when they heard this. After all, some of the clans wanted to see a joke. However, it seemed that this wasn't the case. Lin Xian had already joined forces with some of the monarch clans. For example, the Phoenix clan was completely on Lin Xian's side. The Yi clan head also spoke in a deep voice. Indeed, he hoped that fellow Taoist Huang would consider it carefully. The Qilin clan also spoke up. Following that, the ancient clans and peerless sects also spoke up. Although they spoke tactfully, they were all supporting Lin Xian. Some were even criticizing Huang Qing. This caused Huang Qing's face to darken. He represented the desolate hill and was from the forbidden lands of life. No one dared to challenge him. Even the great emperor clans had to be courteous when they saw him. But now he wanted to intimidate a young man, but he couldn't do it. Instead, these great emperor clans came to plead for leniency. Was this young man already so powerful? The desolate hill definitely wouldn't allow such a person to continue being arrogant. He looked at the people from the great emperor clans around him and snorted coldly. The corners of his mouth curled up. Is that so? You're all helping him? Well, there were only so many seats above anyway. If anyone wanted to help Lin Gongzi, they would stand up, walk down, and give their seats to him. As soon as these words were spoken, the entire world instantly fell silent. Many people's pupils shrank. Chapter 55-25. It was terrifyingly quiet. The great monarch clans frowned too. Huang Ling's methods were really ruthless. These great emperor clans could help Lin Xian, but no one was willing to let Lin Xian replace their positions. Therefore, they all fell silent. Damn it. The Crimson Dragon and the others also frowned. It seemed that the situation was not good. Could it be that this time? Were they really going to show Lin Xian who was in charge? Countless eyes looked at Lin Xian. Some were curious and wanted to know what Lin Xian was going to do. Some sneered and hoped that Lin Xian would be unlucky. Lin Xian raised his head and walked forward. Everyone was stunned. What was he going to do? Even the great emperor clans were puzzled. Was he really going to ask them to give up their seats? If that happened, they would lose all their face. They might even go crazy and attack him. No one wanted to be enemies with Lin Wuti, but no great emperor clans wanted to be slapped in the face. So, this was a difficult situation to solve. Lin Xian stepped on the stairs and went up to the sky. He looked at the row of people and glanced at them. The great emperor clans were extremely nervous, but they soon breathed a sigh of relief. They realized that Lin Xian's gaze did not stop at them. Instead, he went to the middle. Soon, Lin Xian stared at Huang Qing. Huang Qing also frowned. Who allowed you to come up? He scolded coldly. Lin Xian smiled. Didn't you say that someone would give up their seat for me? I think yours is good. Why don't you give it to me? Everyone was in an uproar. They didn't expect Lin Xian to target Huang Qing. Huang Qing was also angry. At this banquet, I will be representing Huang Ling. Are you challenging the desolate tomb? Don't scare me with Huang Ling. Mount Eternal tried to kill me, but failed. Huang Ling is as strong as Mount Eternal. You don't have the right to threaten me. You asked me if I was challenging the desolate tomb? My answer to you is, I am challenging you. What can you do about it? Crazy! He was extremely arrogant. The surrounding people went crazy. Lin Wuti was really too arrogant. Originally, Huang Qing wanted to give Lin Xian a show of strength and make a fool of Lin Xian. But who would have thought that Lin Xian wasn't afraid at all? Instead, he wanted to slap the other party's face. This was truly a fierce battle between a dragon and a tiger. Not knowing what the final result would be, everyone became excited. Although they didn't know what the banquet was about, they felt that it was worth it to come here. Huang Qing's face was terrifyingly dark. He said in a low voice, Brat, think clearly about the consequences of opposing our barren hill. I don't need to know. I only know that I don't have a place to sit. If you let me sit, I won't attack you. Save some face for the barren tomb. Otherwise, don't blame me for throwing you down. At the end of his speech, Lin Xian's body suddenly erupted with a trace of biting cold devil qi. It was as if he had turned into a demon god. At this moment, the world became oppressive, and everyone felt their scalps go numb. Huang Qing was also angry. You're courting death. Everyone says that you're Lin Wuti, invincible in the world. I want to experience it for myself. He slapped out with his palm, and 5 chains appeared on his palm, emitting an earth-shaking sound. They charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian waved his hand, and a Tai Chi diagram appeared and kept spinning. The aura of yin and yang blocked the 5 chains. At the same time, another palm slapped towards the other party. You're courting death. Huang Qing was also angry. The other party dared to attack him? In an instant, he struck out with a terrifying light. It was a desolate blade that seemed to be able to cut through everything. In Lin Xian's right hand, a war map appeared. The war map of the heavens carried endless fighting spirit. The two collided and actually forced Huang Qing back. Lin Xian took a step forward and sat down. Thank you, he said with a smile. The others widened their eyes. They didn't expect Lin Wuti to really succeed. After Huang Qing was forced back, he was also angry. He was actually slapped in the face. Damn brat, you've completely angered me. The void behind him split open, and an ancient bronze coffin appeared. The ancient coffin carried an endless aura as if it wanted to suppress the world. As soon as it appeared, everyone's scalps went numb. The coffin of desolation? Some people from the emperor clans were shocked. Desolate tomb, just from the name, it should be extremely extraordinary. Not only did it carry an aura of desolation, but it also buried some ancient coffins. They didn't expect Huang Qing to bring out an ancient coffin. What was buried was a supreme powerhouse from ancient times. Once it came out, no one knew what kind of power it would display. Stop! The old phoenix walked out and shook her head. The Yi family, the Qilin clan, the Kuanping clan, and other great emperor clans also came out to persuade him. They knew that Lin Xian had an extreme weapon. If they continued to fight, it would be difficult to determine the outcome. Moreover, this time, Desolate Tomb should have an important matter to discuss with them. Therefore, they all tried to persuade him. Huang Qing's expression was ugly. These people from the emperor clans were actually still on Lin Xian's side. Damn it. But soon he smiled. He would let this brat be arrogant for a while. He would cry later. So he said, "All right, I'll give you all face. You all can sit back down." Huang Qing didn't do anything else. Instead, he stood in the void. He looked around in all directions. At this moment, the Gu family's patriarch asked, "May I know why young master has invited us here?" "Yeah." The others were also puzzled. Huang Qing said, "This matter is very simple. It's not a big deal. Now that desolate tomb has recovered, shouldn't you all show some appreciation?" As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. They didn't expect the other party to come for this. However, there was no need to hold a banquet and gather everyone together, right? The Gu family's elder smiled. "That's easy. We've prepared a congratulatory gift today." As he spoke, he waved his hand and took out 3 treasure boxes. Great Tao interweaved on them. It was obvious that the items inside were all extraordinary items. The other emperor clans and clan of the ancients were also prepared. They all took out gifts to congratulate Huang Qing. However, Huang Qing smiled. "That's all? I think you've misunderstood. That's not what Desolate Tomb wants." "Then what do you want?" The Kuin Peng patriarch also frowned. Huang Qing's eyes shone with an intense light. "I want half of your resources." "What?" As soon as these words came out, everyone was in an uproar. Even the patriarchs of the emperor clans suddenly stood up. Their faces darkened. "Half of the resources? What arrogance!" The Phoenix patriarch snorted coldly. The Kuin Peng patriarch also said, "Could it be that you're drunk and talking in your sleep?" How laughable. "These are the gifts. If you don't want them, then forget it." The Gu family's people also waved their embroidered robes and put away the 3 treasure boxes. The other clan of the ancients and the peerless sects discussed animatedly. No one was willing to give half of their resources to the other party. However, Lin Xian furrowed his brows. Chapter 55-26. Huang Qing wasn't an idiot. Since the other party dared to gather all the great emperor clans together and said such words, it meant that the other party was prepared. But what exactly was it? He didn't know. He sent a message to Murong Qingcheng and the others, telling them to be careful and be prepared to retreat. The people of the Divine Union nodded after hearing the message. They took a deep breath and prepared in secret. The other great emperor clans were infuriated. That was because Huang Qing was truly too arrogant. He was simply demanding an exorbitant price. In the void, Huang Qing's face darkened. He said in a deep voice, "Everyone, you may have misunderstood. I'm not negotiating with you. I'm giving you one last chance. Now, sign the Blood Alliance letter and hand over half of your clan's resources to us. Then I'll let you leave safely. Otherwise..." He didn't say anything else and just sneered. This made everyone frown. The leader of the Golden Crow clan sneered. "Otherwise what? What can you do? We have so many people now. Even if you have a human sovereign, what can you do?" That's right. The other clans were also discussing. With the great emperor clans around, they were very confident. "Really? We can't do anything to you." Huang Qing shook his head and smiled. "You guys are too confident. How about this? I'll let you guys meet a friend." Then he waved his hand and said, "Old friend, come out." When these words were spoken, everyone was curious. Who was it? Could it be that the human sovereign was really here? They were all on guard. Another figure appeared in the void in the distance. It was a woman. She was also dressed in black and had a mysterious and terrifying aura. Her appearance shocked countless people. Who was this person? It shouldn't be the human sovereign. The woman in black walked over and said with a smile, "Is it time for me to come out so soon?" Huang Qing said, "These people don't know what's good for them. They think they can contend with us. Now let's teach them a lesson." The woman in black walked out and looked around. "I'll give you one last chance. Are you really not going to cooperate?" Humph, who are you? The leader of the Kuanping clan snorted. The others frowned. The other party looked like a young genius. Did she have any means to deal with them? The woman in black said, "Let me introduce myself. I'm the Eternal Princess from Eternal Mountain." As soon as he said this, everyone's pupils shrank. Mount Eternal, one of the forbidden lands of life, was extremely terrifying. Damn it, the two forbidden lands have joined hands. So what? The Gu clan's people also snorted coldly. No matter how strong the two forbidden lands were, they couldn't stop them. This time, we've all brought extreme weapons. Therefore, I advise you not to do anything foolish. That's right, those people from the Emperor clan all walked out, their bodies releasing a trace of extreme Dao aura. Clearly, they were trying to intimidate the two forbidden lands. The indestructible princess smiled gently. "Seniors, you are so powerful. How can a weak woman like me be your match? However, you also said that you have extreme weapons. That means that your clans don't have any extreme weapons to suppress them. When the time comes, I wonder how many clans will be able to defend themselves under the iron hooves of my Mount Eternal. Perhaps the human supremes of Mount Eternal will also come out for a visit." As soon as he said this, everyone's expression changed. Not good. Luring the tiger away from the mountain. Damn it. In an instant, someone rushed out, wanting to leave. However, Huang Qing sneered. A black crack appeared in the sky, and those who flew in seemed to have entered a quagmire. Their speed slowed down infinitely, and they were finally beaten back. What was going on? The Golden Crow clan's powerhouse's expressions changed drastically. They seemed to have been sealed just now. What was this? The other clans also tried, and there was also an uproar. The Gu clan snorted coldly. They had the Void laws. The Void ancient scripture was extremely mysterious, and its spatial powers were unpredictable. However, they were also blocked. This shocked countless people. What was this? Was it a formation? Don't resist. Although we can't defeat you, it shouldn't be a problem for us to stop you. As for what this formation is, I can tell you directly. Void Tribulation Formation. It's also a spatial power, and it's related to the Void Emperor. Even if you have extreme weapons, I can still teleport you to the depths of the universe in an instant. Even if you can rush back, your clans will be destroyed by then. I want to see who is willing to be the first to be destroyed. Hearing this, everyone's expressions became incomparably ugly. They were all staring at the Gu clan. Have you joined forces? The Gu clan's people also shook their heads. What a joke! How could they join forces? Damn it! How do you have such a formation? Huang Qing laughed loudly. Why, did you forget? Previously, the Void Emperor had fought with the human sovereigns of desolation. Back then, he was injured. Our human sovereign has unfathomable power. He used the Void Emperor's blood to create this void. Tribulation Formation. It's even more powerful than your Gu clan's ancient scripture. Do you want to try it? As soon as these words came out, the scalps of the surrounding people went numb. The human sovereign was actually so terrifying. This was impossible. The human sovereign who fought with the Void Emperor back then was still alive. The Void Monarch capital no longer existed. What was going on? What kind of existence was the human sovereign of Desolate? These people were all crazy. Even Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. The situation was not good. He asked, "DeLong, is the human sovereign from back then the same person as the one now?" DeLong said, "If there were no accidents, they should be the same person." Lin Xian said, "That's impossible. How many tens of thousands of years have passed here? 100,000 years? 200,000 years? How could he live for so long?" DeLong said, "The human sovereign is a very special existence. You will know in the future. Don't underestimate them. They are not something that quasi-emperors can compare to." Hearing this, Lin Xian's brows furrowed tightly. The methods of a human sovereign were indeed terrifying and mysterious. They could actually form such a formation. And this was not the end. Huang Qing actually took out another treasure. It was a decree, a bronze scroll. It was the decree of the human sovereign. After he took it out, he knelt on the ground and opened it respectfully. A vast power spread out. It belonged to the power of a human sovereign. It swept out in all directions. It even formed a blurry figure. That person looked down on the world. He couldn't be seen clearly, but he was like a god that suppressed the 9 heavens. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. Was this the human sovereign? Just a single decree was already so terrifying. Damn it, I don't believe it. The patriarch of the Kuin Peng clan shouted angrily. Their extreme weapons instantly erupted with light. They wanted to use their full strength. The entire world shook violently. At this moment, the supreme figure in the decree waved his hand. In the void, the tribulation formation instantly teleported the people of the Kuin Peng clan away. A spatial crack appeared between heaven and earth with destructive power. However, the people of the Kuin Peng clan disappeared. Were they really teleported away? Chapter 55:27. Were they really teleported away? Countless people were shocked. The pupils of the Yi family shrunk. Not good. This was the mortal sovereign's doing. It seemed like they were well prepared this time. They had been completely tricked. The other monarch families' faces turned ugly. They had extreme weapons in their hands, but they couldn't escape now. At most, they could only guarantee their safety. This mortal sovereign was too scary. He didn't even come, but he already had such great power. These people were in despair. Someone said, "Why don't we agree to it before leaving? Leave and then return?" Some people shook their heads. The Blood Alliance Treaty was signed with one soul and bloodline. Once they went back on their word, they would definitely die. If so many people died, it would be a heavy blow to the monarch families. Everyone's face turned pale. If they had known, they wouldn't have come. What kind of banquet was this? They were in a dilemma now. I advise you all not to resist, or you will end up in a miserable state. Huang Qing said with a smile. The mortal sovereign's arrangements were so thorough. How could these big families be compared to them? One had to know that even the great emperors couldn't do anything to the mortal sovereign. Thinking of this, he was even more proud. At this moment, he looked at Lin Xian and said, "Lin Gongzi, do you still dare to be arrogant now?" Huang Qing's eyes were cold. Lin Xian had slapped his face before. Now he was going to be the first to take revenge. He strode over to Lin Xian and said, "Lin Gongzi, sign the Blood Alliance Treaty. Otherwise, I'll destroy the divine union." Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The first person to attack was Lin Wudi. Everyone looked at Lin Xian. If Lin Wudi also lowered his head, the other great emperor families would have no hope. The people of the divine union gritted their teeth. Damn it, they couldn't accept it. The eternal princess also came, her eyes filled with killing intent. He knew that Lin Wudi had killed many of their experts from Mount Eternal. This time, as long as they had the chance, they would ruthlessly suppress him. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at the two people in front of him. He sneered, "What if I refuse?" What? As soon as he said that, everyone was dumbfounded. Rejected. Lin Wudi actually dared to refuse. The immortal princess also stopped smiling, and Huang Qing's face darkened. Reject? In that case, I will destroy your divine union. There was no need to doubt the power of Mount Eternal. This time, there was also the power of a human sovereign behind the scenes. You won't be able to resist it at all. I'm giving you one last chance. Huang Qing was truly furious. His first target was Lin Wudi. He wanted to make Lin Wudi bow his head. This was because the other party's reputation was simply too great. If the other party were to lower his head, the other great emperor clans would definitely submit to him obediently. No one dared to resist. But who would have thought that Lin Xian would be so uncooperative and reject him directly? Therefore, he had to threaten them again. Taking a step forward, Zhang Xian's strength burst forth. The supreme decree in the sky blossomed with even more dazzling light. Lin Xian also stood up. She said, "I'll say it for the last time. I'm going to refuse." Shock, incomparable shock. Who would have thought that under such circumstances, Lin Xian would still be so tyrannical? However, would the divine union really be able to resist? Despicable. Attack! Huang Qing shouted angrily. The immortal princess snorted coldly. He had said, "Don't worry, leave it to me." He took out a bell, shook it gently, and started transmitting his voice. Soon he smiled and said, "Just wait. It won't be long before the news of the divine union's destruction spreads." Everyone waited anxiously. The members of the divine union also acted as if they were facing a great enemy. However, Lin Xian was very calm. He sat down again, picked up a cup of spirit tea, and slowly tasted it. "Oh, is that so? Then let's wait and see." He wasn't in a hurry, as he had already left behind a trump card in the divine union. The immortal princess wasn't joking this time. Mount Eternal and Mount Huangling had joined forces. Huang Qing had made his move to restrain the people from the great emperor clans before Mount Eternal attacked. Suddenly, a terrifying figure appeared on Mount Eternal, blotting out the sky and forming a black chariot that flew towards the divine union. The chariot rolled and the sky and earth shattered. The ancient sacred origin city shook violently once again. Countless people looked up at the sky. Was someone going to attack the divine union again? This was the power of the Eternal Three. Was the Forbidden Land also attacking the divine union? What was going on? They had heard that the divine union and the great emperor clans had gone to attend a banquet. Why was this happening? Countless voices of discussion were heard. They didn't understand and could only prostrate on the ground. A black pagoda appeared in the sky and crushed down mercilessly. Together with the chariot, it could sweep everything away. Not good. The people of the Sky Sect and Earth Sect were shocked. This method was comparable to an extreme weapon. Even the patriarchs of the Tao wouldn't be able to resist it. However, the patriarchs of the Tao in the divine union were gathered here. There was indeed a trap. They had actually launched such an attack. "Everyone, let's make our move too." They shouted angrily and took out a black jar together. The sky-swallowing jar was unleashed and swept across the sky. The terrifying black vortex and the terrifying pagoda fought against each other. An extreme weapon attack shattered the sky and earth. The terrifying power spread through the 9 heavens. At this moment, the entire burial Earth star felt it. Above the Demon Sea on the White Bone Island, those people were also shocked. Even the extreme weapons started to shake. The people of the Gu family exclaimed. This was an extreme weapon confrontation. This was the power of the sky swallowing jar. The people of the Qilin clan were also shocked. Lin Wudi didn't bring the sky swallowing jar. He was really bold. Lin Xian's lips curled up. Some people were going to be slapped in the face again. Didn't they vow to destroy the divine union? Could they do it? If they didn't have the right, then don't jump around in front of me. If you continue to be arrogant, I will kill you. Lin Xian's voice was cold as he slapped Huang Qing and the immortal princess in the face. The two of them looked extremely ugly. Damn it, the sky swallowing jar. The other party had actually left the sky swallowing jar in the divine union. So what? They didn't believe it. He should have brought Qinglian with him to attack the Demon King Mountain. The immortal princess gave the order again. Everyone looked at Yen Ruyu. It was no secret that Yen Ruyu was the descendant of the Azure Emperor. He had the extreme weapon of the Azure Emperor and lived in the Demon King Mountain. Now that he was here, the Demon King Mountain was going to be destroyed. Outside, the black chariot charged over with the indestructible pagoda. At this moment, the Demon King Mountain shook violently. The nearby mountains were all destroyed. The great demons in the Demon King Mountain also looked up at the sky. Their faces became extremely solemn. They shouted angrily and roared at the sky. Fight! These great demons rushed into the sky. Behind them, a Qinglian bloomed. It seemed to have turned into a Qinglian world and spread out. Chapter 55:28. The green lotus swept across the land, displaying the same extreme Tao aura. It blocked the attack of Mount Eternal. The black pagoda collided with it in the air, and endless flames pierced through the 9 heavens. However, there was nothing they could do. After all, the other party had the protection of an extreme Tao weapon. It was too terrifying. Someone was attacking Mount Eternal. Was it Mount Eternal? Heavens, what was Mount Eternal trying to do? When the people on Burial Earthstar sensed this, they exclaimed again. At the same time, their scalps went numb. Some of the Emperor clans were even more nervous, because their extreme Tao weapons had been taken away. At this time, if Mount Eternal attacked them, they would be in real danger. Quickly, activate the array. The great Emperor clans and remote Antiquity clans activated the array. At the same time, some of the elders in the clans frowned. Why did they feel like this was a trap? Whitebone Island also felt 2 shocking forces sweeping through the 9 heavens. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile as he looked forward. However, Princess Bumie's face became extremely ugly. Damn it, another extreme grade weapon. You actually left the Azure Emperor's extreme grade weapon in the Monster Emperor Mountain? He stared fixedly at Yan Ruyu, not daring to believe it. The others were also in an uproar. Didn't Lin Wuti and Yan Ruyu not bring any extreme Tao weapons? Did they come alone? That was too bold. Did they not have any extreme Tao weapons? Very well, let's kill them then. Huang Qing shouted coldly. The sovereign law above his head released endless killing intent. Thousands of rays of light fell, sweeping toward Lin Xian and Yan Ruyu. Many people were shocked. Morong Qingqing snorted and took out the desolate tower. The terrifying desolate tower suppressed the heaven and earth, blocking the power of the mortal law. The 2 of them fought, destroying everything. The surrounding people retreated as if they were facing a great enemy. Was it extreme Tao we're going to break out? Yan Ruyu said coldly. 1 emperor weapon was enough. Shocking, extremely shocking. No one expected Lin Wuti to not know about such a method. Some people sighed. There was no other way. The Divine Union had 3 emperor weapons. They only had 1 and couldn't arrange it. Only Lin Wuti could use such a method. The others shook their heads and sighed. Huang Qing gnashed his teeth in anger. Lin Xian stood up and said in a clear voice, "Now that I say I refuse, do you still have any objections?" Damn it, the indestructible princess's face was also incomparably gloomy. This time, the 2 Forbidden Grounds had teamed up to suppress the martial monarch clans in the surroundings. They wanted these martial monarch clans to hand over half of their strength to them. But now, because of Lin Wuti, they couldn't continue. If even Lin Wuti couldn't be suppressed, what could they do? At this time, Huang Qing said, "Good, Lin Wuti, you're good. I underestimated you. But just you wait, I'll deal with you after this is over." As he spoke, he no longer paid any attention to Lin Xian. Instead, he turned to look at the others. "I can't do anything about Lin Wuti, but none of you can run away. You only have a single monarch weapon, right? If you carry it with you now, I'm afraid your martial monarch clans will be defenseless. Even if there's a formation, it won't be able to withstand the power of a human sovereign. Now, sign the blood red contract and give us half of your clan's strength. We can choose not to attack, otherwise your clan will be annihilated." No, the remote Antiquity clans were in despair. Even the martial monarch clans' faces were incomparably ugly. Damn it, we've fallen. This time, we've really fallen into the hands of the Forbidden Grounds. They were unwilling to accept this, but in order to protect their clans, they had to do this. However, at this time, Lin Xian walked out and said, "There's no need for half. As long as you give me 1/5 of your clan's strength, I'll consider protecting your clans." What? As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people were stunned. One after another, all eyes fell on Lin Xian. Although 1/5 was a shocking amount of resources, it made their hearts bleed. But compared to the other half, it was really too good. So they were all excited. Lin Gongzi, do you really have a way? Yes, Lin Gongzi, although we know that you're resourceful. You're also on White Bone Island now. How are you going to go back? Lin Xian said, Don't worry, it's just the strength of Mount Eternal. After we go out, we'll directly block Mount Eternal. This way, you won't be in danger, right? Then, you can find a way to go back. I just want to waste some time. Isn't time what you're lacking now? How about I provide you with this time difference? Hearing this, the remote antiquity clans regained their hope. Even the martial monarch clans were tempted. Although 1/5 of the resources was a lot, they decided to go all out. Okay, Lin Gongzi, if you can go out and block the power of Mount Eternal, then we'll agree to your request. The elder of the Qilin clan nodded. The Yi clan and the Phoenix clan also spoke one after another. After a few big clans spoke, the others had no choice. For example, the Gu clan was unwilling, but there was nothing they could do. The people of the Sky Blade sect could only bow their heads. Now, they could only place their hopes on Lin Xian. Lin Xian said with a smile, Okay, but even 1/5 of the power is a shocking amount of wealth for the martial monarch clans. So, it's better to swear with your Dao heart. The martial monarch clans all swore with their Dao hearts. The other remote antiquity clans and great sects did the same. The Dao heart was also very effective, so one couldn't easily swear. Once one swore, one had to agree. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian nodded. Okay, you guys can wait here. At this moment, Huang Qing was angry. Do you think I don't exist? He looked at the surrounding martial monarch clans and remote antiquity clans. He shouted coldly, Are you crazy? There's a human sovereign and a void formation. How can that kid go out? Who do you think he is? Huang Qing was really crazy. Originally, he was the main character today. All the martial monarch clans had to lower their noble heads in front of him. He could trample the entire burial earth under his feet. But now it was not like that at all. In the blink of an eye, these martial monarch clans had reached an agreement with Lin Wuti. They even wanted to ask Lin Wuti for help. Lin Xian had become the most dazzling light in the world, while he was dim and lightless. How could he endure it? So he roared crazily. He stared at Lin Xian and said, You want to go out? Stop dreaming. It's impossible in this lifetime. The supreme decree is very terrifying. It can definitely contend with your extreme Dao weapon. As for the void formation, don't even think about leaving. Even if you go out, I can instantly teleport you to the desolate border of the universe. Don't even think about coming back in this lifetime. Chapter 55-29. Huang Qing was extremely confident in the mortal decree and the void array. She didn't believe that Lin Xian could escape. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You're too confident. So what if you have the power of immortal supremacy? You're not a mortal supremacy now. The supremacy hasn't shown her true body either. Do you think you can fight me with just 2 weapons? You're too naive. When I swept the world, you hadn't even been unsealed. You don't have the right to jump around in front of me now. Lin Xian scolded coldly. Damn it, Lin Wuti. How dare you slap my face and shout at me? Unforgivable. Huang Qing was also furious. He waved his hand and activated the power of the mortal decree. Endless rays of light exploded in the sky as the supremacy decree unfolded. The great Dao runes on it contained the power of immortal supremacy. It was enough to suppress everything. The surrounding people tried to block it. Their extreme weapons could only defend, but they didn't dare to attack. Anyone who attacked would be teleported to the outskirts of the universe. Even if they didn't die, no one knew how long it would take for them to return. When they returned, their families might have been wiped out. Thus, they could only look at Lin Xian and say, Lin Gongzi, we can only rely on you. Lin Gongzi, as long as you succeed, 1/5 of the resources will be given to you. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The Divine Union gather. The surrounding people of the Divine Union gathered around him. Murong Qingqing even took out the desolate tower to block it. A bronze pagoda bloomed between heaven and earth. Billions of stars swayed. The power of immortal supremacy was also blocked. The two shocked the entire world. Everyone held their breaths. Could it succeed? It was blocked. As expected of the desolate tower, it was also an extremely terrifying extreme weapon. However, some people frowned. For example, the Gu family frowned. Lin Wuti could block it. But so what? The most terrifying thing was the Void Array. This was the power of our Emperor. It contained the blood of the Void Emperor. Furthermore, it was an array set up by immortal supremacy. After so many years, the Gu family wouldn't be able to escape even if they used their Emperor abilities. How could Lin Wuti escape? This was what they were most concerned about. Even if Lin Wuti used the desolate tower to tear apart the defense, he would probably be teleported to the outskirts of the universe, like the Kunping clan. Just disappear. In this way, they would also be unable to be rescued, so they were very nervous. Lin Xian said, Qingcheng, you can block the power of the Paragon Law Decree. Susu, Rizalong, both of you provide power to Qingcheng. Leave the rest to me. The Crimson Dragon said, Kid, this void formation is really not ordinary. I can sense sovereign blood spreading out, as well as an extremely powerful power. Can you really do it? As a master of formations, the Crimson Dragon's brows were also tightly knitted as he stared at the formation. It wasn't any weaker than a great emperor's formation. Moreover, it was the scariest void teleportation formation among the great emperor formations. If there was even the slightest mistake, they would most likely be exiled from the universe, never to return. Lin Xian said, Leave it to me. His eyes shone with an extremely cold light. At the same time, he sent a sound transmission. DeLong, it's up to you now. There was still some power in the sword world that could be used. Lin Xian had always kept the power of the sword world. Even if he used it, he would only use a portion of it. But this time he couldn't wait any longer. He had to use all of his remaining power, because only by breaking through the void formation could it leave. And once he succeeded, he would receive the power of a large family and sect, as well as the emperor race. That would be an astonishing amount of power, even surpassing that of an emperor race. And that power, Lin Xian would give all of it to the sword world. Therefore, Lin Xian decided to stake it all on this one throw. DeLong nodded. He was also looking forward to it. With so much power, after giving it to the sword world, who knew how much it would recover, because he knew that when that thing came, the entire world would probably produce endless strange phenomena. Many unexpected things would happen. And Lin Xian, if he wanted to continue growing quickly in such a situation, and even fight with some ancient existences, then he had to rely on the sword world. Therefore, this time, Lin Xian made the most correct decision. DeLong was also very supportive. He said that he would use all of his strength to activate the great dragon sword soul. Prepare. Lin Xian took a deep breath and roared. Attack! With a roar, Murong Qingqing and the people of the Divine Union fought against the decree with all their might. On Lin Xian's body, a dragon-shaped sword aura appeared and enveloped him. The terrifying sword light swept across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Boom! Boom! Great dragon sword soul. Many people from the emperor race exclaimed when they saw the scene. Lin Xian also had the great dragon sword soul, which was extremely powerful. However, the people from the Gu family also frowned. Although the great dragon sword soul was powerful, it was an offensive saint technique. However, whether or not they could break the void formation was still unknown. The other members of the imperial clans also frowned. However, they could only rely on Lin Xian now. It's useless. Huang Qing sneered. The power of the void formation is far above yours. Unless you're a resurrected emperor, you can forget about leaving this place. As soon as he said that, Lin Xian roared and the sword aura on his body soared into the sky. It swept in all directions. At the same time, it enveloped the people of the Divine Union. Go! They soared into the sky and flew into the sky. Void formation, activate for me. Huang Qing activated the mortal decree and activated the power of the void formation. Endless cracks appeared in the void, leading to the universe. There was also a lightning tribulation spreading. This was an extremely powerful spatial formation. Send it to the edge of the universe. A mournful voice rang out. The void formation released endless spatial power. There was also emperor blood on it, enveloping Lin Xian and the others. Lin Xian and the others felt a powerful spatial power trying to take them away. Lin Xian roared angrily. Slash! The dragon roared. The great dragon sword soul absorbed the power of the sword world as if it had been resurrected. Between heaven and earth, a dragon's sword bloomed and turned into the most dazzling light. It slashed towards the void formation. The two collided. The starry sky shattered and the endless universe turned into darkness. Not good. Quickly defend. The people from the monarch clans also took out their monarch armaments to defend. They were horrified. How could the great dragon sword soul be so powerful? This Lin Wuti was probably going all out. They didn't know if it would succeed. Everyone looked up at the sky. A huge black hole appeared in the sky, like the door of death. No one knew where it connected to. Aft. Huang Qing's face was pale. He took a few steps back and spat out a mouthful of blood. His pupils constricted. Damn it, how could it be? How could it be like this? In the confrontation just now, he was injured. This was the result of the formation's backlash. A crack had appeared in the void formation. He was injured. Damn it. Did he not control the other party? Impossible. Even if the void formation was attacked, it could still send that kid into the universe. It roared crazily. Chapter 5530. The huge black hole in the sky slowly disappeared, and everything returned to normal. That's great. A smile appeared on Huang Qing's face. I knew it. It's absolutely impossible for this kid to resist the void formation. The immortal princess sneered. Lin Wuti had teleported away. No one could fight against them now. He wanted to use the power of Mount Eternal. The faces of the other clans of the Huanggu clan and Monarch clan became extremely ugly. What happened? Could it be that Lin Wuti didn't succeed? No, they were desperate. Even their last hope, Lin Wuti, was gone. What about them? Didn't he succeed? Leaf Dao Denier furrowed his brow. The Yi clan leader sighed. There was nothing they could do. The void formation had the power and blood of a human emperor. On the other side, the Gu clan had strange expressions. The blood of their great emperor was terrifying. It should have been a glorious thing for them, but now they were trapped. How ironic. Just as everyone was in despair, a voice came from outside the formation. The void formation was just SOO. A human emperor was no big deal. You still can't stop me. Everyone looked up when they heard the voice. What? It was Lin Wuti's voice. Heaven, it was ringing in their ears. Could it be that he had gone out? They looked up at the sky. A group of people appeared in the sky. These people were from the Divine Union. They stood there with pale faces and wounds on their bodies. It was obvious that they were injured. But they all came out, and standing at the front was a young man who looked like a god. It was Lin Wuti. Heaven! He had succeeded. He had really succeeded. He had actually led the members of the Divine Union away. Exclamations rang out. At this moment, the monarch clans were so excited that they were about to cry. They saw hope. This was impossible. Huang Qing roared crazily, as if he had seen the most unbelievable thing. The void formation was terrifying. Even if you used an extreme weapon, it could still teleport you away. But why did Lin Wuti do it? Why didn't he teleport away? Damn it, I don't believe it. He roared at the sky as if he had gone mad. His face had become ferocious. Damn it. How could this be? The indestructible princess was stunned as well. This Lin Wudi's strangeness was actually beyond their expectations. Lin Xian said, "Everyone, remember your oath. I will stop Mount Eternal." Inside the formation, the Yi family, the Qilin clan, the Phoenix clan, and the others all bowed. The young master invited them in. "We will keep our word." "Good." Lin Xian laughed heartily. He turned around and led his men into the sky. They were going to intercept Mount Eternal. At the same time, Huang Qing roared, "Princess Eternal, let Mount Eternal attack the Phoenix clan first." A shrill voice rang out, causing the members of the Phoenix clan to become extremely nervous. The immortal princess quickly took out a black bell and transmitted her voice to the immortal princess. At the other side, Lin Xian and the others were also very fast. After coming out, the Crimson Dragon used earthly scripture. Under the ground, one formation after another appeared, absorbing the endless spirit veins for transportation. Every time they teleported, they would appear in a different sky. Lin Xian's face was pale. As she flew, she swallowed pills to recover. Although the sword just now was terrifying, she had already used up the power of the sword world. He was unable to unleash a second strike. Fortunately, they still had 3 Emperor weapons. At this moment, Lin Xian was transmitting her voice to the savage ancestor and the others, asking them to bring the heaven-devouring jar. At the same time, Yanryu also asked the great demons of the Demon Emperor Mountain to bring Qinglian out. They were going to besiege Mount Eternal. The Phoenix clan also activated the Fire Phoenix formation. A fire phoenix spread its wings and swept across the 9 heavens. At this moment, a black chariot appeared in the sky. On the chariot, there was a monstrous aura of indestructibility. A pagoda flew out of the chariot. The pagoda was incomparably black, like an immemorial mountain. It shook the world. After the attack, endless mountains and rivers were shattered, and a terrifying crack appeared in the sky. The Phoenix clan was shaken by the impact. Even the fire phoenix that was spreading its wings dimmed. Damn it, what kind of power was this? It felt similar to an extreme weapon. Damn it, Mount Eternal. Were the Patriarch and the others trapped? Could they not come back? They did not see the powerhouses of the Phoenix clan or the Emperor weapon. This made the people of the Phoenix clan feel incomparable despair. Destroy! A figure appeared on the black chariot. It was a man in a black robe. His expression became incomparably cold. She was the first emissary of Mount Eternal. The previous 10 emissaries of Mount Eternal had all fallen, leaving only one emissary. It was him. Now he was outside preparing to attack. The first emissary sneered. There was no need for the Phoenix clan to exist. This time, he came with the power of the human sovereign. The human sovereign gave him a divine monument. It was a black stone monument, and he carefully held it in his hand. It had the power of the human sovereign, and it could completely activate the supreme pagoda and this chariot. Therefore, he could now be said to be a fox borrowing the tiger's might and sweeping through everything. So what if it was a mere fire phoenix formation? The power of the immortal sovereign was not something you could imagine. As he spoke, he activated the black stone monument. The black stone monument bloomed, and endless light and inextinguishable power surged out. The pagoda in the sky fell mercilessly. The fire phoenix wailed, and cracks appeared on its body. Hadai, with one more attack, the fire phoenix will shatter. The great emperor's clan might be conquered by him. Thinking of this, the first emissary became excited. At that time, the entire Phoenix clan would crawl under his feet. Attack me! The black pagoda in the sky fell again. No, the people of the Phoenix clan below were in despair. However, at this most critical moment, a soft shout sounded. You dare to attack the Phoenix clan? Unforgivable. As soon as the voice fell, another pagoda appeared in the sky. It was a bronze pagoda with the power of time. It directly rushed into the clouds and collided with the supreme pagoda. The two fought, and a sea of blood soared into the sky. The entire sky was completely shattered. The starlight from the outer realm shone in. It was blocked. The Phoenix clan opened their eyes and saw the supreme pagoda that was blocked in the sky. They cried out in surprise. It was the desolate pagoda. It was Qingcheng. Princess Qingcheng had come to save us. That's great. I knew that Princess Qingcheng would not give up on us. These people cried out in surprise. After the fall of Princess Fengjiu, Murong Qingcheng was the hope of the Phoenix clan. At this critical moment, Murong Qingcheng really came. Princess Qingcheng, please kill the powerful enemy. Bless us. Below, endless shouts sounded. Murong Qingcheng stood above the 9 heavens. She held the desolate pagoda in her hand like a peerless goddess. She said, "With me around, no one can hurt the Phoenix clan." Chapter 5531. Murong Qingcheng's appearance had protected the phoenixes. At the same time, the first emissary's face darkened on the black chariot. He stared at Murong Qingcheng and said through gritted teeth, "I remember you. You were with Lin Wuti. Damn it, you're that invincible woman. I'll make Lin Wuti kneel at my feet if I catch you." He let out a shrill roar. The supreme pagoda fell mercilessly and fought with Murong Qingcheng. Murong Qingcheng used the desolate pagoda. At the same time, he said, "Give me power." Below, the phoenixes provided power. The desolate pagoda shone brightly and swept in all directions. At the same time, a cold snort came from the void. "You want me to kneel? Do you have the ability to do so?" Hearing this, the first emissary's pupils constricted. He turned his head abruptly. "Who is it?" When he saw a figure appear behind him, his expression became incomparably ugly. "It's you, Lin Wuti. You're here too." He gritted his teeth. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "You didn't expect it, did you? Defeated. Kneel on the ground obediently and submit to me." "Damn it," the first emissary roared. "I'm no longer the same person as before. Do you see that? This black stone tablet is the power of the immortal supremacy. What do you have to fight me?" He roared and urged the black chariot to charge forward. The black chariot was also an extremely terrifying weapon. It charged forward violently and shattered the 9 heavens. A black vortex appeared in front of Lin Xian, swallowing the heavens and the earth. It blocked the black chariot. Damn it, 2 extreme grade weapons. But Lin Wuti, you only have half an extreme weapon. You might not be able to defeat me. The first emissary's eyes were filled with killing intent. "I lost to you before, but this time I'll make you kneel at my feet." He roared angrily and was about to attack. Lin Xian smiled. "Is that so? Who told you that there were only 2 of us? Ruyu, come out." Yanryu also walked out from the other void. Behind him, a green lotus bloomed. As it swayed, it shattered the 9 heavens. The first emissary's face turned even uglier. She knew this woman as well. These were all experts in the dragon transformation battle, and the other party had actually brought an extreme weapon, facing 3 extreme grade weapons against him. He was so frightened that he hurriedly recalled the supreme pagoda. "Haha, how is it? Are you scared out of your wits?" Behind them, the people from the Divine Union also arrived. The toad jumped out and said, "Little brats, you want to contend with the Divine Union? You are far from it." The Crimson Dragon also sneered. "Cultivate for another 10,000 years. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to defeat yours truly. Damn toads and snakes, go to hell." The toad was furious. "She jumped out and I threw up all over your face." His spit flew out and flew towards the first emissary. The first time he dodged, his expression became even colder. "Ants, I will make you pay the price." He roared crazily. Lin Xian coldly snorted and attacked. The three extreme-grade weapons emitted brilliant radiance as they unleashed terrifying attacks. The battle chariot and the supreme pagoda shook nonstop. The first emissary was shocked. Her face turned pale and she looked terrified. "Damn it! Impossible! How did you come out? Damn it! What are those people from the barren hill doing? Why did they let these guys come out?" He was going crazy because he had received accurate information that Lin Xian and the others had gone to the White Bone Island. The White Bone Island had long been sealed by the people from the barren hill. No one could escape, especially that array. Even the attack of an extreme-grade weapon could only be transported. They would never return. That was why the first emissary had the chance to kill so many people. But now Lin Wudi and the others had appeared and brought 3 extreme-grade weapons. This was completely out of his expectations. For a moment, his face was frighteningly dark. She wanted to ask the immortal princess what was going on. Lin Xian coldly snorted. "No need to ask. I will tell you. I walked out of the void array." "Impossible." The first emissary shook her head frantically. She had heard of how terrifying the void array was. She would never be able to walk out, not even with an emperor weapon. "Kid, don't try to lie to me. You must have used a clone to go and hid your real body." "Humph, coward." The first emissary felt that she was right. Lin Xian coldly sneered. "What? Are you going to challenge me to a one-on-one?" "That's right." The first emissary stood up and said, "What's the point of fighting me with 3 extreme-grade weapons?" "Ha ha ha ha, I'm dying of laughter. You dare to challenge me to a one-on-one? Who do you think you are?" The toad coldly sneered. The crimson dragon also said, "I advise you to kneel on the ground and kowtow. You are not Lin Wudi's opponent." Yanruyu and the others also shook their heads and sneered. "Do you still have the right to do that?" The people from the Divine Union also had strange expressions. How dare this kid challenge their boss Lin to a one-on-one? Did water get into his brain? Lin Xian chuckled as well. He looked ahead and said, "You're really brave. But did you hear what they said? You are not my opponent at all. Therefore, kneeling and kowtowing is your best choice." "Damn it! How dare you look down on me? What do you bunch of ants know?" The first emissary took a step forward. The inextinguishable energy on his body became even more terrifying. "I am no longer the same as before. Lin Wudi, I may have lost to you, but this time I will not lose again. Get over here and fight me." The first emissary was full of pride. After returning, he was indeed punished. However, he cultivated even harder. His strength had become even stronger than when he was in the dragon transformation trial. This time he was put in an important position and came out to sweep everyone. So what if he met Lin Wudi? He was confident that he could beat him. How stupid! Lin Xian shook his head. "However, since you have spoken, I will fulfill your wish. Come on, I will use one hand. Kid, you will regret this. You will pay the price for your arrogance." The first emissary walked out. He decided to use his most terrifying strength to kill his opponent. He walked out of the war chariot. The inextinguishable energy on his body condensed and formed a black spear. It was as if he had turned into a black dragon that made the world lose its light. Yanruyu and the others were shocked. They had to admit that the first emissary's strength was much stronger than during the dragon transformation trial. However, they shook their heads. Lin Xian had become even more terrifying. Lin Xian was like a completely different person compared to during the dragon transformation trial. The first emissary would soon regret this. In the face of such a peerless attack, Lin Xian did not dodge at all. He just stood there quietly. Clang! The attack landed on his body. "That's great. I hit him. Go to hell, brat." The first emissary smiled sinisterly. Chapter 5532. A Peerless Attack. Heaven and earth shattered as the first emissary laughed heartily. It was as if he had seen victory. However, when he saw the silhouette that appeared from the cracks in the sky, he was completely stunned. not dead. His opponent was actually unscathed. How was that impossible? His attack was so terrifying. Furthermore, his strength was different from before. How could his opponent block it? Was this his current strength? An all-out attack? Lin Xian laughed. How many years had it been since you knew about the outside world? Could it be that you don't understand my strength now? The first emissary frowned when he heard this. He said, "What strength are you? Aren't you the champion of the dragon transformation trial?" Ha 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 ha! What an idiot! The Divine Union members behind him laughed when they heard this. The toad snorted coldly. Trash, you are really stupid. Don't you know that Lin Xian is already the Triple Crown champion? What? Triple Crown champion? The first emissary was shocked and stunned. The Crimson Dragon sneered. Not only that, but Lin Xian had just defeated a Triple Crown champion. How do you think you compare to the Triple Crown champion? Impossible, this is impossible. Don't try to lie to me. Do you think you can scare me with your lies? The first emissary roared crazily. His strength had increased, but he still wasn't the Triple Crown champion. In fact, he was still a distance away from the Triple Crown champion. After all, what kind of existence was the Triple Crown champion? How many days had it been? Lin Wuti had already become the Triple Crown champion. What a joke! I don't believe it. He roared angrily and attacked again. The resplendent light made the world lose its luster. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Stupid thing! I'll let you have a taste of my strength. As he spoke, he threw out a punch. With a boom, the spear was sent flying and the first emissary retreated. His hand split open and turned into a bloody mist. The pain almost made him faint. What kind of power was this? It made him feel despair. Did he feel it? This was the power of the Triple Crown champion. Lin Xian's body swayed. He threw out the demon god palm and smashed the first emissary into pieces. The first emissary was frightened to tears. How could he be so strong? No. Previously, he was still full of confidence to challenge the other party. He was simply courting death. Therefore, he quickly turned around and fled. The indestructible power restored his body, and at the same time, he fled towards the first chariot. He wanted to borrow the power of the human sovereign. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a slash of his sword, he slashed apart the heavens and earth, stopping his opponent. Trying to escape? Didn't he say he wanted to fight one-on-one? Why did he need to borrow Ji Zun's power now? I won't give you a chance. Damn you, Lin Wuti, get out of my way. The first emissary unleashed all of his strength and struck forward. However, when it hit Lin Xian's body, it didn't even leave a scratch. This was absolute suppression. The first emissary roared madly as he quickly retreated. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He unleashed a Tai Chi diagram, which enveloped the other party. The yin-yang sword Qi pierced through his opponent. Then Lin Xian said, "There's no challenge at all. Ruse along, Toad, come at me. Teach him a good lesson. Is that okay?" The Toad was still worried. Although he was hooting outside, he was still the first emissary, a terrifying double champion. However, Lin Xian sneered. "Don't worry, I'm sealing him now. He's no different from an ant." He waved his hand, and a few streaks of sword Qi entered the other party's body, causing him to be extremely miserable. "Brothers, follow me." Seeing this, the Toad jumped out immediately. The Crimson Dragon and the other members of the Divine Union also rushed out. They began to beat up the first emissary. The first emissary was miserable. Now these people didn't kill him. Instead, they beat him up. Moreover, he had an indestructible aura. When his power was broken, he could quickly recover. This feeling of hovering between life and death was unbearable. Below, the members of the Phoenix race were stunned when they saw this. Was it really okay? "Lin Gongzi, we also want to join the battle." Lin Xian said with a smile. "Come on, attack as much as you can. Don't hold back." Yes. The members of the Phoenix race soared into the sky and joined the battle. Previously, the first emissary was extremely arrogant and threatened to destroy the Phoenix race. Now that there was a chance, they naturally wouldn't hold back. Countless figures were beating up the first emissary. Between heaven and earth, screams could be heard as blood dyed the 9 heavens red. The scene here immediately attracted the attention of the other clans and sections. When they saw this scene, they were dumbfounded. Oh my God, that was the first emissary of Mount Eternal, right? The legendary supreme existence was now in such a miserable state. It seemed that they couldn't offend Linwoody. Otherwise, they wouldn't even know how they died. Everyone shook their heads and sighed. On this side, they continued to beat up. On the other side, above the demon sea, Huang Qing's expression had also become extremely ugly, because the emperor race had already begun to move. At first, after Lin Xian left, the emperor race people were still worried. However, after waiting for a long time, the Phoenix race discovered that no one on their side had died. They heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that Lin Xian had already blocked the attack of Mount Eternal. In that case, they wouldn't be polite. Everyone break the void. Although they would be teleported away, Lin Xian had bought them time. Therefore, the Phoenix race took the lead. The extreme weapon transformed into an ancient phoenix that swept across heaven and earth, bringing them to break the void and leave. Damn it, the void formation turned into a large crack and teleported them away. However, it couldn't kill them. Next, the Gu race, the Qilin race, the Yi race, and the others all moved. Those clan of the ancients didn't have extreme weapons, but they were disciples of the emperor race. They could use the power of the emperor race to leave. For a time, the figures on the entire island became fewer and fewer. In the end, only Huang Qing and the immortal princess were left. Their faces were as black as the bottom of a pot. Damn it, Huang Qing roared. This time he had failed. After returning, he would definitely be punished. However, he couldn't believe it. Before coming, he had already calculated everything. It was absolutely foolproof. However, Lin Xian had defeated him from the beginning to the end. His killing intent towards Lin Xian was as deep as the universe. Damn it, let's go. The void formation was useless. Huang Qing and the immortal princess soared into the sky. They also killed their way out, taking advantage of the fact that the emperor race hadn't returned. They might even be able to destroy 1 or 2 of them. The immortal princess' face turned cold. She said to check on the first emissary first. Damn it, this guy has the power of a supreme being. Could it be that he couldn't fight back? She couldn't believe it. That was a supreme being. Therefore, she rushed towards the Phoenix race. When he arrived and saw the scene, he was also stunned. This was because they saw countless people from the Divine Union and the Phoenix race beating up a figure. That figure was shattered thousands of times, but he was still alive. However, his miserable appearance made one's scalp tingle. That was the first emissary. The immortal princess was stunned. This idiot, why didn't he use the power of a supreme being? Huang Qing was also crazy. Was this guy the one who ruined their plan? He couldn't wait to kick the first emissary to death. Chapter 55:33. Quick, save me. The first emissary was in despair. The feeling of being beaten really made him want to die. When he saw the immortal princess and Huang Qing, he hurriedly asked for help. The others also saw them and quickly retreated. They waved their hands, and the Divine Union and Phoenix clan members quickly retreated. They all hid behind the extreme weapons. Kid, it's up to you. Toad shouted. Lin Xian also turned around. She smiled and said, "You guys are here." It seemed that the great families had already left. How was it? How did it feel to lose? Huang Qing was trembling with anger. Kid, don't be so arrogant. One day, I'll make you wish you were dead. Ha ha ha. Lin Xian laughed. One day? Why don't I send you to hell now? Lin Xian walked forward. Then he split the first emissary apart with sword energy. The immortal princess shouted angrily, "How dare you!" He wanted to come over and help, but the green lotus bloomed in the sky and the desolate tower suppressed him. The immortal princess couldn't resist. Huang Qing, who was beside her, also took out the mortal decree to resist. However, Lin Xian had enough extreme weapons. Huang Qing and the others were also forced back. They could only watch as the first emissary was split apart. Then Lin Xian used the power of the great dragon sword soul to crush the first emissary's indestructible power. In the end, the first emissary disappeared. He couldn't believe it until he died. He couldn't believe that he had been defeated so miserably after his strength had increased. He was actually dead. Huang Qing frowned. The immortal princess expression was also very cold. "You killed him. You're dead. Our Mount Eternal will never let you go." As he spoke, he came to the war chariot. He wanted to control the power of the human supremes. Lin Xian sneered. "The power of 2 human supremes. We have 3 extreme weapons. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you to the end." Moreover, it wouldn't be long before those great emperor clans returned. At that time, the power of those extreme weapons would come out. Even if you have supreme weapons, I'm afraid your soul will be destroyed. Lin Xian said with a smile. Huang Qing gritted his teeth. The other party was right. "Just you wait. This matter won't end like this." Huang Qing left. The immortal princess also gritted her teeth, waiting for the wrath of Mount Eternal. The 2 of them left. The people of the Phoenix clan heaved a sigh of relief. They had finally left. The members of the Divine Union also relaxed and smiled. This was great. So what if he had the strength of a supreme being? Weren't they still beaten away by them? After this matter spread out, the entire buried Emperor Star was shocked. Lin Wuti had once again created a miracle. He was the sovereign of the human realm. More than 100,000 years ago, he could even fight against a great emperor. Who would be able to match such power? Even those great emperor clans would have to lower their heads. Sure enough, when they heard about what happened on Bones Island, they all went crazy. Those great emperor clans were in despair. However, Lin Xian had broken out of this predicament. The other party had actually charged out. He had saved the great emperor's clan. They even defeated the Forbidden Lands. It was truly inconceivable. Someone exclaimed. Lin Wuti was truly a rare genius. He would definitely become a great emperor. Some people shook their heads. No, they didn't understand the strength of a sovereign of the human realm. Back then, there were existences that had started a dark war. Even great emperors had suffered losses at their hands. One could imagine how terrifying they were when they were angered. Had Lin Wuti provoked such an existence? Following this, his fate would be extremely miserable. All sorts of discussions could be heard. Lin Xian and the others also returned. During this period, the Crimson Dragon had set up arrays near the various great emperor clans to investigate. Once the people of the Forbidden Lands of Death appeared, they would immediately take action. However, during this period, Huangling and Mount Eternal didn't seem to attack. It was obvious that they were preparing for something. On the other hand, the great emperor clans returned one after another. They had broken through the void and returned from the universe. After returning, they returned to their clans. When they saw that their clans were safe and sound, they heaved a sigh of relief. Let's go to the Divine Union and thank Lin Gongzi. This time, they had to thank Lin Xian. Otherwise, they would have had to hand over half of their clan's resources. From then on, they would have to bow their heads to the Forbidden Lands and never raise their heads again. This wasn't just a loss to their clan, but also a shame to their ancestors. Therefore, Lin Xian had preserved the glory and face of their great emperor clans. They naturally had to thank him. This day was an unparalleled day on the buried Emperor Star. This was because nothing like this had ever happened before. Great emperor clans, remote antiquity clans, unparalleled great sects. These overlords were supreme existences in the universe. Now, they had all gathered together and came to the divine union with great respect. The Yi family's patriarch, Yi Wudao, had come personally with 1/5 of the family's strength. The Yi family thanked Lin Gongzi for saving their lives. The Yi family's patriarch bowed deeply and offered 1/5 of the family's strength. At this moment, the crowd was in an uproar. The Phoenix clan thanked Lin Gongzi for saving their lives. The Qilin clan thanked Lin Gongzi for saving their lives. The Gu clan thanked Lin Gongzi for saving their lives. The Kuinpeng clan thanked Lin Gongzi for saving their lives. The Golden Crow clan thanked Lin Gongzi for saving their lives. The Sky Blade sect thanked Lin Gongzi for saving their lives. Voices rang out one after another, echoing throughout the 9 heavens. At this moment, the universe was shaken. All the great emperor clans were bowing and thanking a young man. This was probably something that had never happened since the creation of the universe. Even the great emperors of the past were only at this level. Lin Xian wasn't a great emperor yet. He wasn't even a quasi-emperor yet. Yet he had managed to do this. How could this not shock everyone? At this moment, the buried Emperor Star was in an uproar. The divine union was in an uproar. They were really too excited. This was especially so when they heard that so many great emperor clans had sent their resources and strength to Luo Yunyang. This made them go crazy. This kind of strength had probably surpassed the total strength of an entire great emperor clan. Now, they were going to give it to Lin Xian. At this moment, even the eyes of the various realms turned red. However, they didn't dare to make a move. Who would dare to provoke the divine energy now? Lin Xian kept all these resources. He took out some of them and left them in the divine union. After all, the divine union also needed to develop. These people also needed to cultivate. As for the rest, Lin Xian sent all of them into the sword world. Boom, boom, boom. Thunder and lightning formed a storm of energy in the sword world. The entire world seemed to be shaking. In the 4 Spirit Valley, the 4 great spiritual beasts felt this energy and prostrated themselves on the ground. Oh my God, what kind of energy was this? What did that kid do outside? He couldn't have robbed an emperor's clan, right? Too much energy. They were so excited that they were trembling. The spiritual herbs in the 4 Spirit Valley also shook violently. They grew rapidly. That heaven-reaching ancient tree was originally withered and withered. However, under this power, it actually started to grow green leaves. The sacred spring of life was boiling nonstop. Everything had changed. Chapter 5534. Within the sword world, a violent explosion occurred. Even the remnant soul of the Hellfire Dragon was alarmed. He woke up from his slumber and soared into the sky. *CK, heavens, what kind of power is this? Is this kid crazy? At the same time, DeLong also said, sending this power into the depths of the sword world, allowing it to split open the heavens and earth. Lin Xian nodded, controlling this power. He flew into the depths of the sword world. The sword world was very big, but Lin Xian had only opened up a little. Most of the places were desolate and barren. No one dared to enter. It was a withered power, and now that there was a new power, it might be able to change that place. This power surged into the surroundings. The remnant soul of the Hellfire Dragon also flew back. He arrived near the 4 Spirit Valley. Oh my God, this is incredible. I wonder what will happen next. He was also looking forward to it. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He did not enter now. He had to wait for this power to change the sword world. With power, what the sword world needed was time. Lin Xian retreated. In the next few days, he began to cultivate and recover, and then prepared to head to the Demon Sea again. Previously, Lin Xian had killed the Sea Demon Royal Highness in the Demon Sea. He did not care about such an ant, but the other party had hit out a fragment in the end. That fragment had actually split open the old Qilin's palm. More importantly, Lin Xian felt the blood of the demon emperor on that fragment. Obviously, this thing was related to the demon emperor. It was very likely that it was the weapon of the demon emperor. Therefore, Lin Xian had to go and investigate now. The entire demon sea seemed to be related to the demon emperor, and Lin Xian cultivated the inheritance of the demon emperor. How could he miss it? The divine union was jubilant. These days, countless families and sects had come to pay their respects. There were even people from other worlds in the universe who had come because of the fame. They all came to pay their respects. It could be said that the current divine union was an unparalleled existence in the entire universe. As for the development of the divine union, Lin Xian left it to Bai Susu and the others. He did not have to worry at all. He also left behind enough resources. As expected, Bai Susu and the others were also growing stronger at a steady pace. Even Murong Qingqing and Yan Ruyu had improved a lot. Both of them were double champions. It would be extremely difficult for them to improve further. However, under the power from before, the two of them had rapidly improved. This time, the two beautiful fairies grinned too. When they heard that Lin Xian wanted to go to the Devil's Sea, the two of them wanted to go. Lin said with a smile, "The two of you are still in the process of increasing your strength, so stay here and cultivate in seclusion for now. Furthermore, I have no problem making a trip to the Demon Sea." Lin Xian took the heaven-devouring jar away. The two of them were not worried at all. There were very few people who could hurt Lin Xian at this point in time. However, Murong Qingqing still said, "Brother Xian, be careful. They won't let this matter rest." Lin Xian expressed that he understood. Then he soared into the sky and headed towards the Devil's Sea. Not long after he left, a piece of news came from the Desolate Tomb. Lin Wudi had challenged the Desolate Tomb. The Desolate Tomb had issued a kill order. The news instantly spread all over the world. The entire buried Emperor Star was in an uproar once again. Sure enough, they made a move. The Desolate Tomb wanted to attack Lin Wudi. The people of the Divine Union were also nervous. Yan Ryu said, "Brother Xian had the great dragon sword soul and the heaven-devouring jar. He should have no problem protecting himself." The people of the Divine Union heaved a sigh of relief when they heard that Lin Xian had an extreme-grade weapon with him. However, at this time, Mount Eternal also issued a kill order to pursue Lin Xian. Everyone was shocked. Two forbidden lands of death were pursuing a young man at the same time. This was probably the first time this had happened. After the Z Mansion received the news, they were also excited. This Lin Wudi was courting death. He had offended the forbidden lands of death. They hoped that they could kill him this time. They wondered if the forbidden lands of death would send out a quasi-emperor this time. This was because it was really difficult for ordinary people to kill Lin Xian. They might not even be able to injure him. The forbidden lands of death's inheritance was even older than the Z Mansion. Their methods were definitely heaven-defying. Just wait, Lin Wudi would be unlucky. In the Desolate Tomb, 8 ancient coffins flew out. They were ancient and exuded a desolate aura. They were abnormally ancient. They broke out of the ground and flew into the sky. Then they quickly probed and emitted light. A low voice came from one of the ancient coffins. It sensed his aura and walked in the demonic sea. The 8 ancient coffins shattered one after another and flew towards the demonic sea. At the same time, in the forbidden lands of death of Mount Eternal, a tall figure walked out. This person's body was pitch black, as if he was made of black gold. He was tall like a demon king. The moment he appeared, he looked disdainfully at the world. Then he soared into the sky and flew up into the clouds. His appearance caused some of the experts and saints near Mount Eternal to kneel down on the ground. After the other party left for a long time, those saints stood up one after another. Their faces were pale. Why did they feel a trace of Emperor's aura? The demonic sea. The dark sea seemed to contain endless secrets. And now, above the demonic sea, a young figure descended. Lin Xian stepped on the sea and looked around. Now that His Highness the Sea Demon was dead, he could only look for the Sea Demon clan. He hoped that the Sea Demon clan would know some information. Otherwise, it would be like looking for a needle in a haystack for him to find information about the Demon Emperor. After all, this demonic sea was too mysterious. His soul couldn't completely see through it at a glance. At the same time, he was also curious about what kind of existence could actually fight the Demon Emperor, and even injure the Demon Emperor. It even formed this demonic sea. His figure flickered, and he walked on the sea. He opened his Rinnegan and began to search. On this day, Lin Xian caught a sea demon. It was an octopus. Its body was like a huge mountain, and its tentacles were even more terrifying. Like a giant serpent, it wrapped around Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian's body gently rubbed against it, and the octopus vomited blood and flew upside down. Its body split open. The octopus was scared. This young man turned out to be a peerless master. She wanted to escape, but she was slapped into the sea by Lin Xian. "Lord, please spare my life." The octopus kept begging for mercy. "Take me to the Sea Demon clan, and I will spare your life," Lin Xian said. The octopus was surprised. The Sea Demon clan was the king of this sea. Who dared to provoke them? However, the young man in front of her seemed to be even more terrifying. She didn't dare to resist. She said, "Okay, I'll take you there." She had just moved, but Lin Xian was stunned. He stopped and turned his head to look back. The void in the distance was broken, and 8 big cracks were torn open in the sky as if it was connected to hell. The terrifying aura made the octopus almost faint. Lin Xian also frowned tightly. What a terrifying aura! A strong enemy was coming. Chapter 55-35. The void in the distance broke open, and 8 rays of light appeared. In an instant, they arrived above the demon sea and confronted Lin Xian. The giant octopus under Lin Xian's feet was already kneeling on the ground, unable to move at all. Lin Xian snorted coldly, waved his sleeve, and hit the giant octopus to the bottom of the sea. "Leave first." The octopus quickly turned into a stream of light and fled. At the same time, he was shocked. Why isn't this kid running? This time he was dead meat. In his opinion, Lin Xian couldn't survive against such a terrifying enemy. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at the sky. He narrowed his eyes. There were 8 ancient coffins in the sky, floating and emitting a cold aura. Lin Xian knew the desolate aura on them. They were from the barren hills. Are they finally here for revenge? Is Huang Qing here? Tell him to come out. The 8 ancient coffins in the sky didn't answer Lin Xian at all. Instead, they asked coldly, "Are you Lin Wudi? The target has been found. Who's going to deal with it?" Among them, an ancient coffin shook gently, and a sneer came from inside. "I'll do it." Then the ancient coffin rushed down, as if it had turned into a mountain, and charged towards Lin Xian. The demon sea was instantly shattered, and no one could resist the terrifying power. With a clang, Lin Xian threw a punch at the other party. The two collided with an earth-shaking sound, and the stars in the sky shook. At this moment, the entire demon sea was rolling. In the demon sea, countless monsters all fled. After that attack, Lin Xian withdrew his fist. The ancient coffin was blasted away and fell into the sea. Lin Xian frowned because he could feel that the ancient coffin was not broken. The origin of these ancient coffins was really extraordinary. With his current strength, a punch could shatter a world. However, this ancient coffin was not broken. Boom! The ancient coffin that was sent flying rose into the air and flew over again. It shook violently, and a biting, cold, murderous intent came from inside. "Damn kid, how dare you resist? It seems there's no need for you to live." As he spoke, the ancient coffin emitted a rumbling sound. Immediately after, a pale hand could be seen. The ancient coffin opened and a figure walked out. After Lin Xian finished reading, his brows knitted together tightly, because this person was really too strange. He was wearing an ancient robe that was tens of thousands of years old. However, it was not complete. There were many places on it that were badly damaged. It wasn't just his clothes. His entire body was in tatters. White bones could be seen in many parts of his body. Even where there was still flesh and blood, it was filled with a monstrous aura of death. This person seemed to have crawled out of hell, which greatly surprised Lin Xian. What kind of place was the barren tomb? Could it really be a mausoleum? Had countless experts been buried? But why didn't these people die? Why didn't he enter the cycle of reincarnation? How could he still be alive? Lin Xian was too surprised. The man who walked out sneered. Half of his body was made of white bones, while the other half was made of flesh and blood. It was very strange. It made one's scalp tingle at a glance. His eyes were like blades as he stared at Lin Xian. I'll let you know what regret and despair are. Lin Xian laughed. A monster like you dares to be arrogant in front of me? You're courting death. The pupils of the ancient powerhouse who came out on the other side constricted. Monster. He hated it the most when people called him a monster. Therefore, he slammed his palm over. His 5 fingers seemed to have turned into 5 swords that pierced through the 9 heavens and charged towards Lin Xian. Boom! Lin Xian pushed his hand and struck out a Tai Chi diagram to block the sharp claws. At the same time, he laughed. Why? Are you angry from embarrassment? Look at yourself. If you're not a monster, then what are you? He stomped his foot and monstrous seawater soared into the sky, turning into a demonic mirror. It directly shone on the other party. The other party's appearance appeared in the demonic mirror. As expected, he was more terrifying than a monster. The ancient figure roared at the sky, shattering the 9 heavens and collapsing the demonic realm. Young man, you're playing with fire. I'll let you know the consequences of living a life worse than death. He stomped his foot and instantly rushed over. His left palm had already turned into white bones. When he slashed out with his palm, it was like a bone blade. However, it was powerful to the extreme and carried a power that made one's hair stand on end. Lin Xian was surprised. This person was so terrifying. Even the double-crowned king probably couldn't block this attack. However, the current Lin Xian could even kill the triple-crowned king. So what if he was an ancient monster? He formed a seal with his palm, the demon god seal. He slapped out with his palm, carrying a powerful pressure, and directly blasted at the other party's sharp claws. With a bang, the demonic sea was torn into 2 halves. The ancient monster was sent flying. The laws of light on his body dimmed. Lin Xian snorted coldly. No matter who you are, you don't have the right to be arrogant in front of me. He stomped his foot and soared into the sky. A war map appeared in his hand. The heavens war map. His battle intent pierced through the sky and directly sent the ancient monster flying. The ancient monster was sent flying millions of miles away, shattering the void. You want to kill me? You're not qualified. Come at me together. Lin Xian pointed his sword at the sky. His eyes were filled with piercingly cold sword intent. Damn it! The ancient monster flew out, but he didn't attack rashly, because he could also feel how terrifying the young man in front of him was. At this moment, another ancient coffin appeared in the sky. It shook and laughed. Old 8, you're really trash. The voice was like a wind chime, very pleasant to the ears. It was actually a woman. Hearing this, the ancient monster shouted coldly, What do you know? According to my estimation, he should be a triple-crown king. I didn't expect such a person to appear in this era. I'm not his match alone. Let's attack together. Triple-crown king? Then let me do it. Another ancient coffin in the sky opened, and a pair of jade-like hands appeared. Immediately after, a jade beauty appeared in the void. She was wearing a black dress. Her appearance was indeed beautiful, and it wasn't damaged. However, Lin Xian could tell that only the upper half of the man's body was intact. The legs under the long robe had long been reduced to white bones. She was also a monster. It was just another skeleton. Lin Xian looked at her and sneered. The woman in black was instantly furious. She shouted and slapped out with her jade-like palm, carrying endless power. Lin Xian rushed forward in an instant and exchanged a punch with his opponent. His fist was like the sun, shining in all directions and blocking her fist. At the same time, the firmament battle map swept over again. The woman in black naturally knew how powerful it was and didn't dare to take it head-on. She turned into a stream of light to dodge and said at the same time, "Old 8, aren't you going to attack?" In addition, the half-skeleton monster from before also rushed over. Life chant. He roared and raised his hands into the sky. The entire sky seemed to have been refined by him as he charged towards Lin Xian. The demonic sea below instantly shattered. Feeling the endless pressure, even Lin Xian frowned. He snorted coldly. 6 paths of reincarnation. Chapter 5536. The refined firmament was broken open. A heavenly hand reached out and attacked half of the skeleton. At the same time, the phantoms of 6 worlds appeared and shrouded the 2 ancient powerhouses. Lin Xian's voice was cold. He was like a god as he said loudly, "The 2 of you are full of death aura. You don't belong to this world anymore. You shouldn't have appeared. Reincarnate." Lin Xian's Rinnegan bloomed with a terrifying light, and the power of reincarnation emerged. Feeling this power, the 2 ancient powerhouses' expressions instantly changed. No, damn it. They turned around and fled, wanting to enter the ancient coffins. The phantoms of 6 worlds kept crushing. The power of reincarnation was the nemesis of these people. Sure enough, the death aura on the half-skeleton man's body erupted. The other half of his body also turned into a skeleton and instantly turned into powder. It vanished into thin air. The woman in black ran faster. She arrived near the ancient coffin. Her upper body had already entered the ancient coffin, but her legs hadn't. Under the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation, they no longer existed. The woman in black let out a terrified cry. At the same time, the other bone coffins also shook violently. Damn it, the power of reincarnation. You actually have such power. Kill him. Don't allow this power to appear. The 6 ancient coffins rushed over quickly, as if they wanted to resist the 6 paths of reincarnation. An earth-shattering sound rang out. The 2 collided, and the sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. It was really too terrifying. The 6 paths of reincarnation seemed to have been shattered, and the light on the 6 ancient coffins also dimmed. Lin Xian sneered. His Rinnegan bloomed, and a biting cold light stared at the other party. My guess was right. You don't belong to this world. You've already violated the great Tao of heaven and earth by being alive. Now get lost obediently. Do you want us to send you into reincarnation? Lin Xian's voice was sonorous, causing the void to tremble. Damn it. The woman in black gritted her teeth. She was seriously injured. The other ancient coffins had gloomy expressions. They didn't expect that in the blink of an eye, one was seriously injured and the other died. The leader was an old man. His voice was incomparably old. Everyone, let's attack together. As soon as he finished speaking, the 6 ancient coffins slowly opened, and one figure after another emerged from within. These people stood in the ancient coffins and did not come out. Clearly, they were wary of Lin Xian's 6 paths of reincarnation. This ancient coffin was exceptionally mysterious, and it seemed to be the reason why they were able to survive until now. This ancient coffin could also withstand the 6 paths of reincarnation. They dared to fight Lin Xian just by standing inside the coffin. Brat, I hate those eyes of yours. I'm going to kill you. Rinnegan. This kind of power should not have appeared. The leader of the 6 newcomers was indeed an old man with a tall stature. The others also had different figures, but a part of their bodies had turned into white bones. The death chi was extremely terrifying. Kill! With an angry shout, 6 people rushed over. At the same time, the black-clothed woman from before also charged over. The 7 of them charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian also shouted angrily. The Rinnegan bloomed, and a reincarnation gaze appeared in the sky, looking down. It caused the 7 people's bodies to sway. However, the ancient coffins beside them also emitted a mysterious power to resist. It blocked the power of reincarnation. The 7 people became even more furious. They attacked mercilessly. Lin Xian also snorted coldly. He once again unleashed the heavens of the heavens battle diagram. A square formation diagram was enlarged and swept across the area, blocking the 2 ancient coffins. At the same time, the yin-yang diagram also flew out. The yin-yang diagram kept spinning in the sky, and it also carried an extremely strong death chi. This death chi turned into a terrifying torrent and charged towards the other party. It wanted to trigger the death chi in the other party's body. Everyone be careful! The old man in the lead shouted angrily and struck out with his sword. This sword carried an extremely strong spatial power. Behind him was another man. That man shouted angrily. Countless phantoms appeared around him as if he had opened the gates of hell, resisting the death chi. The next few people used their own methods. While blocking the yin-yang diagram, they charged towards Lin Xian. Kid, go to hell. Lin Xian was surrounded by these 7 people. It seemed very dangerous, but he was still not afraid. He sneered. 9 suns, sky-splitting. On his body, the divine fire danced. A divine fire mark appeared between his brows. It turned into the phantoms of 9 suns and swept in all directions. As his fists danced, the entire world was illuminated. At this moment, the divine fire soared into the sky and swept across the 9 heavens. The 7 ancient coffins were knocked back. Their faces became extremely pale. There was even a trace of fear in their eyes. What a terrifying flame power! Who was this kid? They were too shocked. No wonder he dared to fight against the barren ridge. Lin Xian stretched out 2 fingers and pointed forward. A ball of divine fire flew into the distance, towards the injured woman in black. The woman in black roared angrily and shot out millions of skeletons. However, it was useless. The ball of sacred fire danced and enveloped the opponent. The black-clothed woman let out a blood-curdling scream before disappearing into thin air. Another one died. The remaining 6 people's pupils constricted. Everyone be careful of this flame. Enter the demon sea and attack him from below. Lin Xian not only had the fire of 9 suns now, but also the power of the divine fire. It was too strong. These people could not stop him. Therefore, the 6 of them were very decisive. They rode the ancient coffins into the demon sea. They attacked from below the demon sea. This demon sea was related to the demon emperor and had an extremely strong demonic chi. No matter how strong the kids' flames were, they would dissipate in the demon sea. Look at me. There was a woman among the 6. This woman was relatively thin, and she actually grew a tail. Like the tail of a dead python, it rushed out of the demon sea and swept towards the clouds. It enveloped Lin Xian and pulled him down. With a boom, Lin Xian entered the demon sea. Great, worked. The thin woman was happy. The other 6 people also smiled. With the power of the demon sea, they could definitely suppress the other party's flames. Kid, without the power of the flames, let's see how you can compete with us. The 6 of them once again unleashed their powerful divine ability laws. Lin Xian's expression was incomparably strange. These people wanted to compete with him in the demon sea? These people thought that the power of the demon sea could suppress him? What a joke! The demon sea was related to the demon emperor, and he cultivated the demon emperor ancient scripture. In the demon sea, His demonic chi was even more terrifying. In the next moment, he put away the flames on his body. The 6 people opposite him did not know. They thought that Lin Xian was afraid, so they sneered. "Kid, how is it? Are you afraid? If you are, kneel down and come back with us. If you dare to challenge the desolate tomb, we won't let you off. However, if you don't resist, we can let you die easily." Hearing this, Lin Xian shook his head. "You think too much. I'm just letting you see the Demon Emperor's power." Chapter 55:37. The Demon Emperor's supernatural power. When they heard this, the 6 of them were stunned for a moment. In the next moment, they saw that Lin Xian's body was no longer covered in terrifying flames. Instead, it turned into pitch-black devil energy that spread in all directions. At the same time, the entire demon sea seemed to have been mobilized by him. Lin Xian took out the Great Destruction Spear and charged forward. In an instant, a person was pierced through. Screams were heard, and the faces of the 5 people around also changed drastically. What a terrifying devil energy! Damn it, he's a demonic cultivator. Quick, let's kill him together. The 5 of them didn't dare to hold back anymore. Demonic cultivators in the demon sea would have such a terrifying increase in strength. They had to make a move now and end the battle quickly. The 6 of them fought and besieged Lin Xian. They wanted to suppress him. However, they couldn't do it. Lin Xian was really too powerful. His strength was already unparalleled. In this demon sea, he could even mobilize the power of the demon sea. At this moment, Lin Xian seemed to have transformed into a demon god. All kinds of demon emperors' unique skills emerged one after another. Demon god seal, demon god fist, demon god net, demon overture. In addition, the Great Destruction Spear swept across all directions. One person's body was pierced through, and the other person's body had countless cracks. That person was killed by the demon overture. There were also a few people who were injured. Another person was even more miserable. He was directly knocked out of the ancient coffin and was killed by Lin Xian's Rinnegan. Damn it, another one died. The remaining 5 people roared crazily. They didn't expect that even with the absolute advantage, they couldn't do anything to the other party. Had this person already defied the heavens to such an extent? Lin Xian snorted coldly. He made a move again. The Great Destruction Spear seemed to have turned into a black dragon. Every time they collided, the ancient coffin would shake violently. The surrounding people gritted their teeth and grabbed the ancient coffin tightly. If they fell out, their fate would be very miserable. Damn it! The roar of desolation. The old man in the lead roared towards the sky. His voice swept through the surroundings. It blotted out the sky and covered the earth to resist Lin Xian. At the same time, the other woman also formed a seal. Spirit of ice. The entire demon sea was sealed in ice. Lin Xian's speed also slowed down, and an endless amount of frost appeared on his body. In an instant, he was frozen. Great, the sword of death. Seeing this, a man soared into the sky and charged over. A sword of death appeared in his hand, and he slashed down from the sky. He swung his sword at Lin Xian. However, divine flames suddenly erupted from Lin Xian's body, melting the ice. At the same time, he used his fingers like a sword and slashed out. Azura sword skill, peerless killing intent. The sword slashed open the man's forehead. The man fell to the ground and was instantly killed. The surrounding people became even crazier. Another one had fallen. They attacked in a frenzy. This time, they even activated the ancient coffin. The ancient coffin rushed towards Lin Xian with a terrifying attack, hitting Lin Xian. It shook Lin Xian so much that his qi and blood were roiling. He had to admit that these ancient coffins were really too mysterious. He roared at the sky. Endless demonic energy condensed behind him, and a phantom of the demon emperor appeared. As soon as the phantom appeared, the entire world shattered, and the demon sea also condensed crazily. Damn it, this was the demon emperor's aura. He cultivated the demon emperor's inheritance. At this moment, the 4 people who were still alive finally went crazy. They now understood why they couldn't defeat their opponent. The demon sea was related to the demon emperor, and their opponent was the demon emperor's successor. They were definitely not a match for him here. Run. The 4 of them turned around and ran. However, the phantom behind Lin Xian stretched out its palm and grabbed forward. Suddenly, the entire demonic sea was condensed, and a formless spatial pressure swept out in front of them. The 4 ancient coffins in front of them let out a violent roar. The 4 ancient powerhouses inside were so shocked that they spat out mouthfuls of blood. Their eyes were red. Damn it, were they going to die here? One had to know that they weren't from this era. They were existences from tens of thousands of years ago, or even longer. They had relied on the power of the ancient coffins in the barren mountain to survive until now. It was all for the hope of becoming an emperor in this era. Recently, the barren mountain broke through the seal and broke out of the ground, allowing them to see hope. They knew that there would be a great opportunity waiting for them. As long as they waited until that moment, they would recover. However, now, before they could wait, were they going to die in advance? No, I can't accept this. The old man in the lead roared at the sky. Endless, great Tao appeared on his body, constantly intertwining. The other people also used all their strength to resist. However, Lin Xian's side was even more terrifying. This time, the demon emperor phantom behind him locked onto one of them and charged forward. The ancient coffin shook, directly blasting the person inside out. The bright woman screamed, "Save me!" The great Tao on his body continued to shatter, and his body turned into a bloody mist and disappeared. Was another one dead? The remaining 3 people's eyes were filled with despair. It probably wouldn't be long before it would be them, because they realized that Lin Xian was already walking towards them. With every step Lin Xian took, it was as though he was stepping on their hearts, causing their hearts to beat wildly. The distance between the 2 sides was getting closer and closer. However, at that moment, the demonic sea suddenly broke open, and a black stone tablet pressed down from the sky, directly attacking Lin Xian. Lin Xian punched out, and with a bang, the terrifying heavenly tablet was suppressed. His entire body was also pushed back. His arm was numb, and his blood was boiling. His face instantly turned pale. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. What a strong power, completely surpassing the previous people. Who was it? The light of reincarnation in his eyes cut through the void. The people in the barren mountain were also stunned. Was someone coming to save him? In the next moment, they saw a black heavenly tablet in front of them. It descended from the sky and directly pierced through the demonic sea. At the same time, a figure appeared on the heavenly tablet. It was a tall figure, standing there like a giant god. The aura on his body swept in all directions, making their hair stand on end. It was a quasi-emperor. Feeling the aura, the leading old man exclaimed. Lin Xian also frowned. The other party was indeed a quasi-emperor. He didn't expect that after Lord Alcohol and the Chaos Quasi-Emperor, another quasi-emperor would appear. Lin Xian had seen many quasi-emperors, such as the corpse of the Magnetism Quasi-Emperor, the remnant soul of the 9 Heavens Quasi-Emperor, and the 7th Dragon General in the Dragon Emperor's tomb. These were all quasi-emperors, but they weren't complete. They were either dead or seriously injured. Lin Xian had only seen 2 true quasi-emperors so far. One was Lord Alcohol, and the other was the Chaos Quasi-Emperor of the Chaos race. These 2 had fought a shocking battle back then, but they had already left. Other than them, no other quasi-emperors appeared in the world. However, he didn't expect that another quasi-emperor would appear now, and it was even chasing after him. Feeling the inextinguishable battle intent from the other party, Lin Xian's face darkened. As expected, Mount Eternal was ruthless enough. They actually sent a quasi-emperor to chase after him. Chapter 5538. The three ancient powerhouses who were still alive in the barren hill were delighted. This time, they had joined forces with Mount Eternal. However, they had come first. The powerhouses from Mount Eternal hadn't arrived yet. They didn't expect that Mount Eternal would send a quasi-emperor. Great, there was hope for them. Senior quasi-emperor, please kill this kid. That's right. Kill him to prevent future troubles. Ha 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 ha. No matter how strong this kid was, he was definitely no match for a quasi-emperor. They could feel that this was a power that surpassed the Saint Realm. In fact, they couldn't even defeat him with their bare hands. However, no matter how strong he was, there was still a gap between him and a quasi-emperor. After all, a quasi-emperor's power was above everything. Humph, a bunch of trash. The tall figure on the black stone tablet in front of them responded, making the three powerhouses from the barren hill look incomparably ugly. Their strength was extremely terrifying. No one among the sacred lords could compete with them. They could even kill sacred lords like they were crushing ants. So simple, but now someone actually called them trash. However, they didn't dare to get angry because the person who spoke was even more terrifying than them. It was a quasi-emperor, Chao Yu, and the others. Therefore, they could only lower their heads and grit their teeth. Don't worry, although you guys are trash, I'm here. I'll get rid of him. The tall figure looked forward. He stared at Lin Xian and spoke in a deep voice. I'm from Mount Eternal, sent by the immortal sovereign. Remember my name. I'm the Demon Slayer Sovereign. A cold voice rang out, causing the entire demon sea to shake violently. Lin Xian frowned after hearing this. The Demon Slayer quasi-emperor was so arrogant. However, do you have the ability to kill me? Lin Xian didn't escape. Instead, he took a step forward. A shocking light appeared in his eyes, and his blood boiled. So what if he was a quasi-emperor? Lin Xian dared to fight him. He was now stronger than Long Mu, but he wasn't a quasi-emperor yet. However, Lin Xian had long wanted to fight with a real quasi-emperor to see how strong he was. What was this kid trying to do? Was he crazy? The three powerhouses from the barren hill were dumbfounded when they saw the scene. They saw that Lin Xian didn't leave. Instead, he wanted to fight? Damn it. What a foolish kid. The leading old man shook his head. The other man also sneered. What an idiot. Does he think that just because he defeated us he can go against us? Just wait, he will be killed in one move. It would be best if he didn't flee. If he did, he would definitely die. The three of them were not optimistic about Lin Xian at all. Even the Demon Slayer quasi-emperor laughed. You dare to fight me? Little ant, who gave you the courage? With a look of disdain, he reached out his hand and grabbed forward. A giant hand tore apart the sea of devils and enveloped Lin Xian. The void around Lin Xian continued to shatter. It contained a trace of Emperor's might and a terrifying, indestructible power. Clearly, the other party was a true quasi-emperor who had condensed an immortal chi seed. The immortal chi seed carried an extremely strong killing intent. Since the other party dared to claim that he was a demon slayer, it meant that he was an extremely powerful fighter. The demonic chi on Lin Xian's body was suppressed, and his brows were tightly furrowed. As expected of a quasi-emperor, he was indeed powerful. But so what? In the next moment, he took out the great spear of destruction. The demonic chi on his body continued to erupt. He struck out with a peerless attack. At this moment, Lin Xian's expression was cold as lightning. Every move he made carried a supreme, domineering aura. He pressed forward with indomitable will. Demonic strike. The great spear of destruction flew out, piercing through heaven and earth and colliding with the other party's palm. There was a loud clang. In an instant, the entire demonic sea was torn apart. Endless demonic light appeared on it. This attack actually blocked the quasi-emperor's palm. Behind him, The three ancient powerhouses retreated, their chi and blood surging. However, their eyes were about to pop out. That kid actually blocked it. Impossible! How could he compete with a quasi-emperor? Damn it, how did this kid do it? The three powerhouses were completely dumbfounded. One had to know that a quasi-emperor could probably kill the three of them with a single palm. However, the other party blocked it. The demon slayer quasi-emperor was also stunned, and his brows were tightly furrowed. He was furious that he didn't manage to kill a small ant with one move. How dare you challenge me? Go to hell. In an instant, his palm became terrifying again, as if it had turned into millions of mountains that fell mercilessly. The great spear of destruction shook violently. Lin Xian was also forced back, but in the next moment he formed a seal with his palm. The demonic shadow behind him appeared again, and he struck out the demon god seal to resist. He actually blocked the quasi-emperor's attack again. The demonic shadow appeared and stood above the 9 heavens, causing the demon slayer quasi-emperor to frown. This was the demon emperor's phantom? He also felt a chill down his spine. Lin Xian snorted coldly. How dare you call yourself a demon slayer? Lin Xian charged over with the demon emperor's phantom. Damn it! The demon slayer quasi-emperor roared crazily, and his fist smashed all the demonic chi in the sky. However, at this moment his soul trembled, because he realized that an eye was floating in the sky, and it directly enveloped his soul. At the same time, there was also the aura of reincarnation, as if it wanted to tear his soul apart. Damn it, it's a soul attack! The demon slayer quasi-emperor was furious. He didn't expect this small ant to have so many tricks up his sleeve. Not only did he have the demon emperor's phantom, but he could also use the reincarnation eye technique, causing him to be at a disadvantage. He let out a roar, looking up to the sky. His voice tore the void, and the power of reincarnation was knocked away. In the next moment, a black seed appeared between his brows. It was his immortal chi seed. At this moment, after the explosion of power, everyone felt despair. Even Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. This true quasi-emperor was really too terrifying, and he still couldn't kill him. More importantly, he still had things to do. If he continued to fight, the demonic sea would shatter. If the demonic sea clan was annihilated in this battle, then he would never be able to find any information about the demon emperor. Therefore, Lin Xian snorted coldly. How dare you disrespect the demon emperor? Today, I'll let you feel the wrath of the demon emperor. Lin Xian activated the demon emperor's phantom behind him, and he actually mobilized the power of the entire demonic sea. Demonic cage suppress. The demon emperor's phantom behind him also roared into the sky. There was a trace of anger in his voice, and then he slammed his palm forward. The power of the entire demonic sea gathered in his palm, forming a cage. It enveloped the ancient powerhouses and the demon slayer quasi-emperor in front of him. Humph, ants. Do you think the array formation can stop me? The demon slayer quasi-emperor was disdainful, and he slammed his palm forward. However, the cage didn't shatter, which made him frown. The ancient powerhouses behind him also said, "Oh no, he used the power of the entire demonic sea. He escaped," the other woman exclaimed. Lin Xian snorted coldly, turned around and left. Just now, she did use the demon emperor's phantom to borrow the power of the demonic sea. Although she couldn't completely suppress the other party, she could buy some time for him. Chapter 5539. At this moment, all the demonic beast clans in the demonic sea went crazy. The demonic sea was too terrifying. They didn't know who was fighting in it. Some of the people who were sent to investigate were annihilated on the way, while the rest of them were on high alert as if they were facing a great enemy. They didn't know what was going on. Was the demonic sea going to be destroyed? In the sea, an octopus was escaping quickly. However, a figure appeared in front of him, trying to escape. When the octopus saw Lin Xian, he went crazy. "You didn't die? Impossible. When he saw Lin Xian being killed by 8 experts, he thought he was dead for sure. Lin Xian sneered. "They can't kill me. Now, take me to the demonic Sea clan." The octopus was also a divine ancestor. He was a tyrant among the demonic Sea clans. However, he couldn't stop trembling in front of Lin Xian. The young man in front of him was too terrifying. He couldn't afford to offend him. He prostrated himself on the ground and said, "Young master, please follow me." Lin Xian stood on top of him. The tentacles of the giant octopus danced in the air, turning into a black streak of light that flew at high speed. The demonic Sea clan was a top clan in the demonic sea. However, the demonic Sea clan wasn't doing well recently. Their demonic Sea clan had fallen. All the elders and experts who came with them had fallen. Even the great elder didn't come back. This made them extremely terrified. One should know that the great elder and demonic Sea clan had gone to the White Bone Island to participate in the gathering. However, they heard that Huang Ling and the Indestructible Three had joined forces and trapped a group of great emperor clans and remote antiquity clans on the White Bone Island. They even wanted to threaten the great emperor clans. This left them in a daze. Could it be that their Sea Devil Highness and a group of elders and experts were all killed by the desolate spirit? If that was the case, they didn't dare to take revenge. They could only admit that they were unlucky. Therefore, the demonic Sea clans shook their heads and sighed. On this day, the entire demonic sea shook violently. It was even penetrated. Some people were struck by the shock waves and were instantly annihilated. This made the Sea Demon clan panic once again. Heavens! Are there experts attacking the Demon Sea? Who was it? Was it Mount Eternal? Desolate Spirit? They also felt an indestructible power and the aura of death. If the 2 Forbidden Lands made a move, no one in the Devil's Sea would be a match for them. The other elders found the Sea Demon Patriarch and said, "Patriarch, what should we do? Should I leave this place first? I think some clans and sects have already fled." The Sea Demon Patriarch's brows were tightly knitted. They were a family in the Demon Sea. They didn't intend to leave unless they had no other choice. However, the current situation was truly too strange. If it was a forbidden land, they really wouldn't be able to escape. However, at this time, an old woman quickly said, "When His Highness was still alive, he had once explored the Devil's Sea. They went to a magical canyon. It was a canyon at the bottom of the sea, and it was said that His Highness had obtained an incredible opportunity there. It was because of that opportunity that His Highness had broken through to become a crown king. Before His Highness left, he even said that he would explore the canyon at the bottom of the sea again after this gathering. That canyon was obviously a treasure vault, and it was very likely left behind by an ancient expert. Why don't we go there now? Maybe we can avoid this crisis." Hearing this, many people were delighted. The Sea Demon Patriarch did say that, but I don't know where he is. Do you know? The other elders also shook their heads. His Highness Sea Demon liked to explore the Devil's Sea every day. He had been to too many places. Therefore, they didn't know at all. That old woman said, "This was easy to deal with. His little maid should know. Just find him." Soon, a little maid walked over. Her face was pale, and she was incomparably frightened. "Greetings, elder." "Greetings, patriarch." She didn't know why these people were looking for her. The patriarch asked in a deep voice. The little maid was so frightened that she knelt on the ground. She said, "His Highness has been to too many places. I don't know. However, I know that he has been to more than a dozen places recently, but I don't know which one. I need to try." There was no need to be so troublesome. The patriarch walked over and grabbed the little maid's head with one hand. Then he searched her soul. The little maid screamed crazily. Not long after, her body fell down. The Sea Demon Patriarch grabbed a broken soul and said, "Let's go." They soared into the air. The entire Sea Demon clan moved quickly. They were going to the underwater canyon. Even the treasures, formations, weapons, and manuals in the Sea Demon clan were all taken away by them, because after this trip, they didn't know how long it would take for them to come back. It was safer to bring these things with them. The entire sea demon clan had become empty. However, there was blood on the ground, and there was also a fallen corpse. It was the little maid's corpse. Not long after the sea demon clan's people left, two figures landed. A black shadow landed like a huge monster. It was the big octopus. Standing on his back was Lin Xian. The big octopus said, "Young master, the sea demon clan has arrived." Lin Xian nodded and walked down from his back. The big octopus didn't dare to say anything. It could only crawl to the side and wait quietly. After Lin Xian arrived, he frowned. He sensed with his soul and found that the entire sea demon clan was empty. He snorted coldly. "Are you sure you didn't lie to me? Can you sense if there's anyone here?" The big octopus was also a holy lord, so it instantly sensed that there was no one here. It was so scared that it kept kowtowing. "Young master, please spare me. I really didn't lie to you. This is really the sea demon clan. Look if you don't believe me." It flew over and came to a hall. It grabbed it and said, "Young master, look, this is the sea demon palace. This is really the sea demon clan." Lin Xian also took a look and found that there was indeed the aura of the sea demon clan here. But why did these people leave? He looked at the big octopus. The big octopus said, "I didn't leak any information. I guess it should be the previous battle that scared them." Along the way, we also saw many families fleeing the sea demon clan. Lin Xian also sighed, his brows tightly knitted together. He was still one step away. After the sea demon clan escaped, he didn't know if they were in Burial Earthstar or if they had left. If they were in Burial Earthstar, it would be fine. If they had left, it would be too difficult to find them in the universe. And it was impossible for him to explore the entire sea demon clan. After all, the sea demon clan was incomparably mysterious. Some places were probably not weaker than the forbidden lands of death. Lin Xian frowned. Suddenly, he paused because he saw the little maid on the ground. "What's going on? Why did someone die here?" He walked over and took a look. Then he sighed. There was no saving her. If her soul was shattered, she wouldn't be able to live. The big octopus also ignored him. However, at this moment, a low and weak voice sounded. "I can help you find the sea demon clan." Chapter 5540. When he heard this voice, the big octopus was shocked. "Who is it?" he exclaimed. It was as if he was facing a great enemy. Lin Xian also frowned. The gaze of reincarnation bloomed in his eyes. In the next moment, he was stunned and then said, "Come out." Endless soul fragments rose into the air and condensed in the air, forming an illusion. It was a woman who looked exactly the same as the little maid who had fallen. "You're still alive?" The big octopus was shocked. But in the next moment, he sucked in a breath of cold air. What a terrifying resentment. You actually became a vengeful spirit. You know, Lin Xian also looked at her and then said, "Tell me about your experience." He felt that it was definitely not a coincidence that she became a vengeful spirit. The little maid told him about what happened before and then said, "I didn't do anything wrong. I even wanted to take the initiative to tell you about those places. But the Sea Demon Clan leader didn't give me a chance at all. He directly collected my soul, and he used a demonic technique. After he collected my soul shattered and I could no longer enter reincarnation. I hate it. I want the Sea Demon Clan to be completely destroyed." A hint of killing intent appeared in the little maid's eyes. On the other hand, Lin Xian took a deep breath. He was furious as well. The big octopus beside him said, "Damn, I've long heard that the Sea Demon Clan is overbearing, but I didn't expect them to be so overbearing. They won't even let off their subordinates?" To be honest, he was also angry. Lin Xian said, "All right, since they deserve to die, I'll send them on their way. Tell me about that place." The little maid said, "I want you to swear." Lin Xian said, "There's no need to swear. I'll bring you and let you see it with your own eyes. Moreover, if you really tell me where the Sea Demon Palace went, I'll not only help you take revenge, but I'll also let you enter reincarnation again." Hearing this, the little maid was shocked. "Really?" The big octopus said, "Just believe him. This young master is a very powerful genius." The big octopus was also incomparably impressed now. "Little maid, let's agree. I'll lead the way." Lin Xian's figure flashed and followed. The big octopus also rose into the air. He also followed to watch the show. Beneath the demonic sea, there was a huge crack that formed a canyon at the bottom of the sea. At this moment, a group of people landed in the canyon. The aura of these people was very terrifying. They were from the Sea Demon clan. The patriarch of the demonic Sea Beast clan also frowned when he sensed the aura around him. The next moment he said, "What a terrifying aura." The surrounding elders nodded as well. That's right, this aura was too terrifying. However, they became excited because there was a mysterious and primordial power in it. Clearly, this was an incredible place. If they obtained it, they might have a heaven-defying fortune. Thinking of this, they all laughed proudly. "Great, let's go in." These people took a deep breath and entered the canyon below. Not long after they left, two more figures descended from the sky. Lin Xian looked at the canyon in front of him and said, "Is this the place?" From within his sleeve, the little maid's voice could be heard. "That's right, this is the place." The octopus waved its tentacles and sensed the power around it. He said, reporting to the young master, "It seems that the Sea Demon clan's people have already entered. Go." Lin Xian walked forward. The big octopus said, "The information inside was extremely terrifying. Young master, be careful." Lin Xian said, "It didn't matter." A terrifying sword chi emerged from his body and slashed forward. With the sword, he opened the path. Nothing could stop him. The canyon was very deep. No one knew where it led to, as if it led to hell. At this moment, the faces of the Sea Demon clan's people became extremely ugly, because when they descended halfway, they were attacked. It was an inexplicable attack. This place was extremely terrifying. There was black demonic chi and terrifying demonic blood. One drop was enough to penetrate many of their experts. Many people died and some were injured. At this moment, they were facing a great enemy. Retreat, retreat quickly. They knew that they came to the right place, but they were too careless. They didn't expect this place to be so terrifying. After leaving some corpses, the others retreated with injuries. They rose into the air, wanting to go out first. Then they prepared well and explored again. The speed at which these people retreated was very fast. But suddenly they stopped. "Who is it? How dare you block our way? Get lost!" An elder roared and slammed his palm towards the 9 heavens. Suddenly, the entire void shattered. This elder was also a divine ancestor. He was very powerful. However, in the face of such a terrifying attack, the figure in front of him slashed out with his sword. This sword light converged into one and directly split the elder into 2 halves. Blood stained the sky. The surrounding people gasped, and the pupils of the Sea Demon clan's patriarch shrank sharply. "Who is it?" They were very scared now, because this underwater canyon was very strange. Now that such a mysterious powerhouse had appeared, how could they not be frightened? As they roared, they looked up, but soon they were stunned. An octopus and a young man. They breathed a sigh of relief. Then their faces turned gloomy, and their eyes were filled with killing intent. 2 mere ants dared to compete with them. They really didn't know what was good for them. Originally, they thought that it was an ancient guardian in this canyon. Now it seemed that it wasn't. The Sea Demon clan's patriarch waved his hand, and the powerhouses of the Sea Demon clan rushed over and surrounded Lin Xian and the giant octopus. As soon as they arrived, they sneered. "Boy, How dare you oppose our Sea Demon clan? Do you want to die? I'll let you know what regret is. The Sea Demon clan's patriarch roared. The Sea Demon clan's patriarch also snorted coldly. I'll let you fall into the 18th level of hell. His eyes were filled with extremely cold, killing intent. Sure enough, they were domineering. The giant octopus was also angry. These people are really too arrogant. Lin Xian also sneered. There's no need for the Sea Demon clan to exist anymore. Kneel down, and I'll give you a quick death. As soon as these words came out, the people of the Sea Demon clan laughed. Boy, who do you think you are? You want to challenge our entire clan by yourself? Do you know how strong our Sea Demon clan is? These elders sneered. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, he shot out dozens of sword chi, which turned into giant dragons and flew in all directions. With a rumbling sound, more than a dozen elders were instantly pierced through. They fell from the sky, and their bodies turned into blood mist. The laughter of the people around stopped, and the smiles on everyone's faces froze. Their eyes widened. In the next moment, their expressions became ferocious. Damn it, what's going on? More than a dozen powerhouses were destroyed in an instant. How did this boy do it? Demon King, he's a Demon King. The Sea Demon clan's patriarch's pupils also shrank. Who are you? He didn't believe that the other party was a young man at all. This should be some terrifying old monster. Chapter 5541. May I know who you are? This time, the Sea Demon Patriarch became incomparably respectful, because he was really too scared. The other party was too terrifying. With just a few simple moves, he could kill so many experts on their side. He didn't dare to be careless in the slightest. First, I'm not a senior, I'm just a young man. Second, I'm here to destroy your Sea Demon clan. Lin Xian's cold voice came out, making the Sea Demon Patriarch's pupils fiercely shrink. Damn it, did I offend you? He gritted his teeth and said. Lin Xian said, You didn't offend me, but I promised someone else. With that, he waved his embroidered robe, and a ray of light emerged. Then there was a shrill voice. Sea Demon Patriarch, you didn't expect this day to come, right? It's you. After the Sea Demon Patriarch saw the other party, his pupils shrank, and his face became gloomy. The faces of the other Sea Demon powerhouses also changed after seeing this. You damn little maid. You dare to turn into a resentful spirit after death and fight against us? Do you think you can really compete with us just because you found a young man? Previously, we were just worried that he was the guardian of this underwater canyon, so we didn't dare to act rashly. But now it seems that this is not the case at all, so we don't need to hold back. Kill him. Following the order, the Sea Demon clan powerhouses in the surroundings released a power that could topple mountains and overturn seas. One powerful figure after another walked over. So many powerhouses blotted out the sky and covered the earth. The big octopus was also frightened. If it weren't for Lin Xian, he would have turned around and fled. The little maid was also afraid. Although she had turned into a resentful spirit, she was no match for these people at all. But at this time, Lin Xian walked out and snorted coldly. The illusion demon scripture was activated, and a demonic shadow appeared behind him. As soon as the demonic shadow appeared, the entire underwater canyon shook violently. The surrounding demonic chi quickly rolled and condensed under Lin Xian's feet. When the Sea Demon clansmen saw this scene, their pupils shrank sharply. Damn it, what is that? They stared at the demonic sound, and their faces became incomparably ugly, because this demonic shadow made them want to kneel down and worship it. Who are you? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Remember my name. I am Lin Wudi. As he spoke, he formed hand seals with his hands. The demonic shadow behind him roared toward the sky. The demonic world descended. With an angry roar, he mobilized all the demonic chi in the demonic sea and suppressed them. Lin Wudi, it's actually you. When the sea demon patriarch heard this name, his face turned ugly. How could he not know this name? His name was like thunder in Burial Earthstar. The other party was the Triple Crown Champion, the champion of the Dragon Transformation Battle, and the descendant of the Great Dragon. He was a terrifying, top-notch genius. He was a popular candidate to become the Great Emperor. Such a person actually appeared in front of them and even wanted to attack them. How could they possibly resist? One had to know that the Purple Mansion and the Thousand Dragon Court, which had once opposed Lin Wuti, were both very miserable. The Sea Devil Patriarch roared crazily, "Run! Run quickly!" He was very regretful now. Why didn't you recognize him from the start? Lin Wuti was the only young man in the world with such strength. The others quickly fled frantically, but it was useless. In the sky, a demonic world enveloped them, bringing with it the power of the demonic sea. The power of the demonic Emperor Phantom behind them also fell mercilessly. In the demonic world, there was endless demonic chi that turned into demonic lightning that penetrated all directions. In an instant, those people kept falling. When the big octopus saw this scene, it was so scared that it crawled on the ground. The other party could control the power of the entire demonic sea. It was really too heaven-defying. At the same time, in another place in the demonic sea, there was also a demonic world cage. There were 4 figures trapped in this cage. A demonic slayer, quasi-emperor from Mount Eternal, and 3 ancient powerhouses from the Desolate Spirits. At this moment, they also quickly joined hands and bombarded the demonic ring cage. Finally, they managed to crack the demonic realm's cage. Great, it won't be long before the cage shatters. Humph! How dare you use the power of the demonic emperor to trap me? I will make you regret it. Lin Wuti, I won't let you off. The demonic slayer, quasi-emperor's voice was cold. As they attacked, more and more cracks appeared on the demonic world cage. It was about to shatter. On the other side, Lin Xian summoned the demonic world again, completely enveloping the demonic sea demon clan. These demonic sea demons were no match at all and were all suppressed. Many of them died. Looking at this scene, the little maid finally cried. She bowed respectfully to Lin Xian. "Thank you, sir, for helping me fulfill my wish." Lin Xian said, "This is what I promised you. You don't have to thank me. The destination you mentioned is in this canyon?" The little maid nodded. Lin Xian said, "Okay, then I'll send you to reincarnation." The little maid was stunned. Then she said, "Young master, I don't want to reincarnate. I want to follow you." After seeing Lin Xian's power, the little maid was completely shocked at this moment. If she followed such a powerhouse, she would have no regrets in this life. "Follow me?" Lin Xian narrowed his eyes, but not long after he nodded. "Okay, then are you willing to become the king of demonic sea demons? From now on, I will let you command the entire demonic sea demon clan." The little maid was stunned. Could it really be done? One must know that before, she was just a little maid in the demonic sea demon clan. It could be said that she was a slave, the most humble ant. The other party could easily erase her. Now, she was above the demonic sea demon clan. The little maid couldn't believe it. Lin Xian said, "As long as you are willing, I can make you the king of demonic sea demons." I am willing to lead the power of the demonic sea demon clan to follow you." The little maid knelt down on one knee. At this moment, her eyes flickered with excitement. "Okay." Lin Xian waved his hands, and the phantom of the demonic emperor appeared behind him again. Forming a seal with his palms, Lin Xian used the peerless supernatural power in the illusionary demon scripture, demonic song. This was the demonic emperor's peerless supernatural power, which belonged to the soul and sound type of attack. The demonic overture could kill the 9 heavens, and the demonic song, in addition to the overture, there were many more pages. Some could be controlled. The demonic sea demon clan was also considered a clan in the demon realm. Lin Xian had the demonic emperor's supernatural power. It was really too easy for him to control the demonic sea demon clan. After all, at his level, he dared to challenge a quasi-emperor. His strength was definitely beyond the imagination of these people. Many demonic runes appeared in Lin Xian's hands and flew into the glabella of the demonic sea demon clan in front. Those demonic sea demon clan members who were suppressed trembled. The next moment, a rune appeared in their souls. They looked at Lin Xian affectionately and became extremely respectful. "Greetings, master." These people all knelt on the ground and prostrated themselves towards Lin Xian. The big octopus looked at this scene and was stunned. The little maid was also shocked. The patriarch of the demonic sea demon clan in front, including a group of elders and powerhouses, all surrendered. Was this the young master's method? Chapter 5542. The little maid was also stunned when she saw this scene. Lin Xian used his demonic qi to form a token and flew in front of the little maid. Then it fused into his glabella. He said, "From now on, the entire sea demon clan will listen to you, and from now on, you are no longer a little maid. You are called the sea demoness." Yes, the sea demoness greets the young master. "From now on, I swear to follow the young master to the death, even if it means risking my life." At this moment, Lin Xian had subdued another powerful force. When the big octopus saw this, it was also stunned. "I am also willing to follow the young master." Lin Xian said, "Okay, then you can stay by the sea demoness side and assist her from now on." The big octopus was very excited. If it could follow such a person and Lin Xian became a great emperor in the future, then it would have a meteoric rise. So how could it not be happy? While they were excited here, at the same time, another earth-shattering rumble came from the depths of the demon sea. The big octopus felt this aura and also prostrated on the ground. What a terrifying aura! Why do I feel a trace of emperor's might? Lin Xian also frowned. He knew that the people he had sealed had come out. As expected of a quasi-emperor, their speed was so fast. He said to the sea demoness and led the people away. "Yes, master." The sea demoness and the big octopus led the people of the sea demon clan into the sky. They left the underwater canyon. Lin Xian's figure flashed and flew towards the underwater canyon. He didn't have much time, he had to hurry. He felt that there was indeed a kind of summoning below, because when he condensed the demon emperor's figure previously, he felt that it was different from before. His illusionary demon scripture also felt a mysterious summoning. It should be something left behind by the demon emperor. So he sped up. At the same time, the demon slayer quasi-emperor also walked out. He said, "Follow me to hunt down that brat." The old man leading the desolate tomb said, "Lord Quasi-Emperor, please go first. We have to collect some things." "Why, do you want to escape?" The demon slayer Quasi-Emperor snorted. "Cowardly ants." The three of them had ugly expressions on their faces as they said, "Lord Quasi-Emperor, you're overthinking things." "We are not running away. We are going to call back the remaining ancient coffins." The 8 ancient coffins could have formed a peerless formation, but we were careless and didn't have the chance to use it. Several of our companions have fallen, but the ancient coffin is still here, so we have to take it back. After saying that, the 3 of them moved quickly. "All right, I'll be waiting for you." The demon slayer Quasi-Emperor's figure flashed as he flew into the distance. He could sense Lin Xian's aura, but found that Lin Xian's aura was becoming more and more indistinct. He absolutely could not allow the other party to disappear. He rushed over. Soon, he arrived at the underwater canyon. Looking at the canyon in front of him, he frowned. "Humph. Do you think you can escape my pursuit by hiding here? What a joke!" With a flash, he flew into the canyon. It was unknown if the canyon was connected to the 9 Serenities hell, but it was extremely deep. He couldn't see the end of it. After Lin Xian reached a certain depth, he slowed down. This was because he felt a terrifying aura around him. Terrifying demonic qi, terrifying demonic blood, and another force. That force didn't belong to the Demon Emperor, but it was equally terrifying. It was obvious that the Demon Emperor and his enemies had stayed here for a long time. Lin Xian kept descending until he finally arrived at the bottom of the canyon. The bottom of the canyon was unusually vast. It was very quiet here without a single sound. There was only the sound of Lin Xian's footsteps. Lin Xian began to search, but his brows were tightly knitted together because he didn't find anything. Could it be that he had guessed wrong? He saw that there were only some gravel on the ground of the canyon. According to his speculation, the Sea Demon Clan's highness should have obtained the fragment in this canyon. However, the other party shouldn't have had the chance to come to the deepest part. He should have obtained it near the canyon. There should be another treasure in the depths of this canyon. However, he didn't expect to find that there was nothing here after he came down. Lin Xian frowned. He took out the fragment he had obtained. After taking it out, the fragment also emitted a mysterious light. In fact, it even shook slightly. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. It seemed that there should be something, but it was hidden too deep and he hadn't discovered it yet. At the same time, he discovered that this place had changed. Not only was it quiet, but a terrifying force surged out. It caused his 9-yang divine body to emit cracking sounds. A powerful pressure descended from the sky. Lin Xian took a deep breath. This place was indeed strange. Just as he was about to probe further, he stopped. He looked up at the sky and sighed. As expected, it came. Lin Xian didn't act rashly. At the same time, a figure quickly descended from the sky. With a boom, it landed at the bottom of the canyon, causing the entire canyon to shake slightly. An aura swept out in all directions. "Kid, run. Let's see how you escape from my grasp." The person who landed was tall and big. It was the Demon Slayer. He stared at Lin Xian and sneered. However, not long after, he frowned. "Damn it, what's going on? Where is this place?" Previously, he only paid attention to Lin Xian and didn't care about anything else. Moreover, with his cultivation as a quasi-emperor, there were only a few places in this world that he couldn't go. He didn't care about other places at all. However, when he sensed the aura here, his expression changed. This was because he felt a huge pressure pressing down on him from all directions. It wanted to tear his body into pieces. "Damn it!" He shouted angrily, and an indestructible battle intent erupted from his body, forming an indestructible armor to block it. At the same time, he looked around. This place was very desolate. There were no plants, only the ground and gravel. Other than that, there was only Lin Xian. "Damn kid, where is this place?" He glared at Lin Xian fiercely. Lin Xian sneered. "This is your burial ground." "Humph, stupid thing. Do you think you can kill me by luring me to such a strange place? This place may be terrifying, but it's still impossible to kill me. I'm a quasi-emperor. You don't understand the power of a quasi-emperor." The Demon Slayer quasi-emperor snorted. Although this place was mysterious, he wasn't afraid of anything. Not only was he a quasi-emperor, but he also came from a forbidden land. He was experienced and knowledgeable and had seen all kinds of scenes. Although the place in front of him was mysterious, he felt that he could still control it. He opened his armor to block the pressure. However, in the ground beneath their feet, a black shadow quietly spread out and swept towards them. Lin Xian and the Demon Slayer quasi-emperor didn't notice this at all. By the time they noticed, it was already too late. Chapter 5543. The mysterious shadow entangled them and restrained them in an instant. "What are you? Get lost!" The Demon Slayer quasi-emperor roared. Murderous intent appeared on his body as he began to attack. However, the black shadow did not shatter. Instead, it grew bigger with his body and kept shaking. On the other side, Lin Xian also frowned. He also realized that the thing that wrapped around his body was actually kelp. Kelp was very common at the bottom of the sea, but this was not normal. DeLong said, "Kid, be careful. The kelp grew up after absorbing the blood of the demon emperor. They are very terrifying. I don't think your divine body can break through them. However, you are the successor of the demon emperor. If you use the illusory demon crystal scripture, they will not attack you." Hearing DeLong's words, Lin Xian took a deep breath and quickly used the illusory demon scripture. Demonic patterns appeared on his body, and a terrifying demonic chi appeared. Sensing this familiar aura, the black kelp quickly retreated. Soon, Su Chen was no longer controlled. He heaved a sigh of relief. That moment just now was really too terrifying. It made his hair stand on end. As expected of the place where the demon emperor was injured, it was indeed terrifying. In addition, he looked up and saw that the demon slayer quasi-emperor in front of him was also roaring crazily. Lin Xian was even more surprised that the kelp did not shatter. Even the quasi-emperor could not do anything to it? Lin Xian smiled. "Didn't you say you wanted to kill the demon emperor? These are all condensed from the blood of the demon emperor. Let's see how you kill them." Lin Xian sneered. Demonic chi surrounded his body, causing the surrounding kelp to all circle around him. Instead, they attacked the demon slayer, quasi-emperor, crazily. Soon, the demon slayer quasi-emperor was surrounded and wrapped up like a dumpling. The demon slayer quasi-emperor's face was hideous. Crackling sounds came from his body. Obviously, he was also under great pressure. Damn it, my fighting spirit is not extinguished. At this moment, he suddenly roared. The inextinguishable seed between his brows kept erupting. At the same time, a sonorous sound came from his body. His entire body seemed to have turned into a peerless blade that began to sweep in all directions. The sky and earth cracked. The kelp shattered like silk and scattered on the ground. "Humph, nothing can stop me," Demon Slayer coldly shouted. Lin Xian was also surprised. As expected of a true quasi-emperor, he was indeed powerful. That strike just now also made his hair stand on end, as if he had been split open. However, those broken black kelp actually healed again like earthworms. His broken body actually reassembled and recovered. Once again, they charged towards Demon Slayer. The Demon Slayer roared. He raised his hand and waved his saber wildly to block the attack. This time he was truly enraged. His heaven-shaking power exploded, and the immortal energy seed also condensed. Only then did it manage to block the black kelp. The next moment, he raised his head and stared at Lin Xian with a terrifying light. His eyes were filled with a terrifying killing intent. "Brat, let's see who can save you this time. We are here too." At this moment, another angry roar came from the sky. Then, 8 rays of light pierced through the air and arrived at the canyon at the bottom of the sea. Lin Xian frowned when he saw the 8 lights. 8 ancient coffins. Did the people from Huangling City come again? 8 ancient coffins floated in the sky, but only 3 of them were open. Someone came out from inside, and the rest were all dead. "How dare the 3 of you come back? Aren't you afraid that I will send you to hell?" Lin Xian sneered. "Brat, we have always remembered this grudge. Although they are dead, their ancient coffins are still here. They can form a terrifying, great barren formation that can take away all life. Let's see how you can block it." The leading old man shouted angrily and set up the formation. The 8 ancient coffins flew in all directions, covering the sky and covering the earth. An extremely terrifying aura of death and desolation spread out. Demon Slayer also rose into the sky, and the power on his body became more and more terrifying. Obviously, the 2 of them wanted to join forces to kill Lin Xian here. Lin Xian's face darkened. "You want to kill me? You don't have the right to do so? Although the two of them were very powerful when they joined forces, Lin Xian had many trump cards. This time, he even brought half of the sky-devouring jar with him. That was half an extreme weapon, and it was absolutely terrifying. Hence, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. He took a deep breath and was about to use the sky-devouring jar. However, at this moment, the ground split open. A black shadow rose into the sky again, and Lin Xian quickly retreated. Even De Long was shocked. He did not expect the kelp to have absorbed so much demon archblood. Had it grown to such a level? The sky darkened, and the kelp was tens of thousands of miles long, bearing its fangs and claws like a demon. As soon as it appeared, it swept across the world. The 8 ancient coffins were all entangled, and they shook. Damn it, what is this? The face of the leader of the wild forest elder turned extremely ugly. Demon Slayer also shouted angrily, again. He waved his arms, forming a terrifying demon-killing battle saber. It swept in all directions. It collided with the black kelp. The kelp used softness to conquer strength, and it wrapped around the battle saber, sealing it. The scene was extremely strange. Lin Xian quickly used the illusion demon scripture, and demonic aura surged from his body. Demon Slayer Quasi-Emperor said, "Quick, don't let him escape. Use all your strength." As he spoke, he stomped his feet, and his body became extremely terrifying, as if he had turned into a giant. Another black steel appeared in his hand, and the inextinguishable battle intent on it was even more terrifying. Inextinguishable, suppressing the heavens. With a roar, the black steel enlarged, and it was tens of thousands of meters long. It was as if an ancient mountain had descended from the sky, and it suppressed all the kelp. On the other side, the leading old man also shouted angrily, and the 8 ancient coffins rotated as if they had opened the gates to hell. The aura of death from inside was like seawater. It enveloped the surrounding black kelp. After the demonic blood kelp was enveloped, their vitality was quickly taken away. It had to be said that the two of them had really used all their strength this time. The power was extremely terrifying, and they quickly charged toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian frowned. They were indeed difficult to deal with. Since that was the case, he would not hold back. The sword chi on his body soared into the sky, and he was about to attack. However, at this moment, the void behind him cracked open, and a bolt of lightning struck him again, sending him flying. What was that? Lin Xian shouted angrily. His body was about to shatter. At the critical moment, he used the heavens battle map to cover his body. Only then did he manage to block the attack. She suddenly turned around and saw that it was a bolt of black lightning that kept dancing. Its speed was extremely fast. Lin Xian's face was extremely cold, and he used his Rinnegan to look forward. This was... Before he could react, the void around him kept shattering, and black lightning bolts appeared one after another. Those lightning bolts were not big, only the size of a palm, but there were too many of them. They covered the sky and covered the earth. In an instant, tens of thousands of them appeared, and the number was still increasing. Chapter 5544. Those lightning bolts moved together and danced in all directions, instantly piercing through heaven and earth. Even the demon blood sea was pierced through. The 8 ancient coffins were also impacted and let out an earth-shaking sound. Countless thunderous sounds rang out. The 3 ancient powerhouses who were still alive were also shaken to the point that their blood was boiling. A few of them were even pierced through and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. The demon slayer Quasi-Emperor was also impacted. As a Quasi-Emperor, he was powerful and could withstand it. However, when he saw tens of thousands of black lightning bolts surging over, he could only temporarily dodge. He tore open the void and quickly dodged. After tens of thousands of black lightning bolts, the number was still increasing. It increased to 100,000 black lightning bolts. Lin Xian's reincarnation tunnel was pierced through. He took out the Heaven's battle map. Even the Heaven's battle map was shaken and dimmed from the impact. Damn it, what the hell is this thing? Why do I still feel a trace of Emperor's might? The old man on the other side of the desolate tomb was also screaming crazily. He was really too scared. This black kelp was formed by absorbing the blood of the demon emperor. It had the emperor's might. However, this black lightning also had the emperor's might. And it was not the demon emperor's might. It was another kind of great earth emperor. Heavens, what was going on? Why was it other than the demon emperor? Had other great emperors been here? And they also stayed here. Lin Xian was even more shocked. Legend had it that the demon emperor had fought with someone back then and was even injured here. Who was his opponent? There had been no records. Now, another kind of great emperor's power had appeared. Could it be that the one who fought with the demon emperor back then was also a kind of great emperor? But it shouldn't be. Wasn't there only one great emperor at a time? Lin Xian was very confused. However, there was no time for him to think too much, even though he now had the demonic qi and the power of the demon emperor. Those black lightning bolts did not seem to let him go. They rushed towards him in an overwhelming manner. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The Heaven's battle map and the Taiji diagram kept appearing. The 6 paths of reincarnation swept in all directions. The sword qi even split open the sky and fought with these black lightning bolts. Damn it, what the hell was this thing? The experts on the other side of the barren forest also roared madly. Lin Xian used his Rinnegan to see clearly that these black lightning bolts were tadpoles. Each black lightning bolt was a tadpole. Now, there were 100,000 tadpoles fighting with them. These were not ordinary tadpoles. They were even more powerful than exotic beasts. One had to know how powerful Lin Xian and the others were. But now they were helpless against these tadpoles. Even Demon Slayer was roaring furiously. He also noticed the black tadpoles. He roared angrily. A mere tadpole dared to contend against him? Demon Slayer. He slashed out with his saber, splitting the heavens and the earth. Finally, some of the tadpoles were split apart. Roar! Those tadpoles roared crazily. At this moment, the void behind him shattered, and another huge black tadpole flew out. This tadpole was really too big, like a huge mountain. It stood there. Ignorant humans actually came to the sleeping land at the bottom of the sea and knelt down to accept death. His cold voice was filled with boundless power. Lin Xian was surprised. These were really terrifying beasts. He frowned. Demon Slayer, on the other hand, was cold. Humph! How dare you ants make me kneel down? The power in his body became even more terrifying. Me. Hearing this, the tadpole leader also frowned. He looked carefully. The next moment he sneered. So you're just a quasi-emperor. You're just a quasi-emperor. You don't have the right to be presumptuous here. The people of the barren spirit tribe gasped. Someone didn't even put a quasi-emperor in his eyes. Even Lin Xian was surprised. This group of tadpoles had extraordinary origins. The tadpole leader snorted and swallowed them. In the surroundings, the 100,000 tadpoles once again charged over, turning into black lightning bolts. The terrifying power was enough to pierce through everything. Lin Xian also made his move. The hell sword slashed in all directions. It carried the sword intent of a dragon and was indestructible. The tadpoles that were close to him were all killed. All of them were chopped into pieces, and miserable screams could be heard. In addition, Demon Slayer also displayed the power of a quasi-emperor and began to counterattack. The 3 experts of the Barren Spirit tribe were no match for him, but the barren death formation they formed was extremely terrifying. The 8 ancient coffins were made of an unknown material. Under such an impact, they were not destroyed, not even a crack. It was really too magical. Just like that, Lin Xian and the other 2 forces began to fight against these black tadpoles. Gradually, more and more black tadpoles fell. The tadpole leader was also angry. "How dare you kill us? You're dead meat." He roared at the sky, his body swayed, and the entire demon sea trembled. A terrifying killing intent swept in all directions, and even more tadpoles appeared in the surroundings. "Attack him!" Demon Slayer Quasi-Emperor's scalp went numb when he saw this scene. He roared and charged towards the tadpole leader. The barren death formation also swept out. Lin Xian frowned. He had a nagging feeling that something was amiss, because the fragment he obtained from the Sea Demon Royal Highness was shaking violently, as if it was about to fly away. If it weren't for him tightly holding onto it, it would have flown away long ago. In the end, Lin Xian could only use the power of the heaven-devouring jar to create a black vortex. It enveloped the other party. It seemed that something incredible was about to come out. Lin Xian was surrounded by a black vortex to defend himself. In front of him, Demon Slayer Quasi-Emperor, the people of the Barren Tomb, and the tadpole leader were fighting. The tadpole leader was extremely terrifying. However, the other party was not a quasi-emperor and was still not a match for a quasi-emperor. However, there were too many tadpoles around him. Once 100,000 tadpoles appeared, it was enough to fight against a quasi-emperor. The more Demon Slayer Quasi-Emperor fought, the more difficult it became for him. He roared at the sky. The Demon Slayer blade had become even more terrifying. However, at this moment, a ray of light flew out between heaven and earth and slashed forward. Demon Slayer's expression changed. He was hit by this ray of light and was sent flying, spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. Many of the bones in his body were broken. The 8 ancient temples were also sent flying, their surfaces dim and lacking radiance. Lin Xian was also hit, but he was already prepared. He used the devouring vortex to block this attack. He retreated with a cold expression. What was this thing that was so terrifying? "Damn it, who dared to hurt me?" Demon Slayer Quasi-Emperor Yang Tian roared. As a quasi-emperor, he was actually injured. The people of the Barren Tomb also felt their scalps go numb. The tadpole leader sneered. "How dare you be so presumptuous in this place? No one in the world can save you." 100,000 tadpoles kowtowed to the void together, submitting. In the void, there was a metal fragment flickering. It was stained with demon blood, but it was extremely sharp. What was that? Demon Slayer Quasi-Emperor and the others were stunned. Lin Xian's pupils constricted, because he realized that the fragment in the sky was extremely similar to the one in his hand. Chapter 55-45. From the looks of it, the two should be the same thing that came from a weapon. It should be broken now, Lin Xian guessed. However, this broken weapon fragment could penetrate the body of a quasi-emperor, and even he couldn't suppress it. He had to use the sky-devouring jar to suppress it. Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air. Could it be a fragment of an imperial weapon? After thinking about it, Lin Xian could only think of this possibility. Could it be that the Demon Emperor's emperor weapon was broken here? Damn it, what is that thing? It's so terrifying. The old man leading the desolate spirits had an ugly look on his face. The Demon Slayer Quasi-Emperor also frowned. There was a crack on his Demon Slayer saber. Obviously, it was injured in the collision just now. This made his heart bleed. At the same time, he was also terrified. He gritted his teeth and said, "Only an extreme-grade weapon can hurt me. This is a fragment of an extreme-grade weapon." As soon as he said this, the 3 experts from the desolate tomb were stunned. A fragment of an extreme-grade weapon. The firmament, an extreme-grade weapon, was the weapon of a great emperor, the supreme existence of weapons, but now it was broken. This was impossible. What kind of power could break an extreme-grade weapon? One had to know that once an extreme Tao weapon appeared in the myriad of worlds, it would sweep through the world and be invincible. Only the other Imperial armaments would be able to contend against them. However, there had been several extreme grade battles before. However, even if they were fully recovered, they were only evenly matched. There was no extreme grade weapon that was broken. This made it hard for them to imagine what kind of battle had happened for the extreme grade weapon to be broken. Even Lin Xian's expression was extremely solemn. Whether this was the Demon Emperor's weapon or not, the battle back then was already very tragic, far beyond their imagination. It seemed that this was not just a simple enemy. In front, the tadpole leader and the others knelt on the ground and kept worshipping. They looked at the demon slayer, Quasi-Emperor, and the others and sneered. Yes, this was an emperor weapon. Although it was only a fragment, it was enough to kill them. They activated the fragment of the emperor weapon and flew forward. The people from the desolate tomb could only enter the ancient coffin to resist, but they were still beaten until they vomited blood. Even Demon Slayer did not dare to be arrogant this time. He frantically fled, would never dare to stand up to such a weapon. Although he was a quasi-emperor, he was only one step away from becoming a true great emperor. However, the difference in strength between the two sides was like heaven and earth. Not to mention a great emperor. He couldn't even defeat a fragment of the great emperor's weapon. One could imagine how big the gap was. The shard of an emperor weapon caused both sides to flee frantically. He was like a stray dog. The tadpole leader laughed heartily. Then he stared at Lin Xian and said coldly, "Brat, it seems like you're the weakest and don't have any trump cards. Then you can go die." He controlled the Imperial armament fragment and charged toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, a black jar appeared and charged forward. "Reckless human ant, who do you think you are? That's a fragment of an Imperial armament. It's not something you can fight against." These black tadpoles laughed wildly. In their opinion, Lin Xian didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. In front of them, there was a violent explosion. These black tadpoles were all stunned. How was this possible? He blocked it. The tadpole leader also exclaimed and roared. He had seen the most unbelievable scene. One had to know that the previous quasi-emperor could only flee after being killed by him. But now, this human youth in front of him actually blocked it. Damn it, how did he do it? When he felt the same extreme aura coming from the black jar, his face became incomparably ugly. It was an extreme weapon, and it was complete. "You're from a great emperor family?" she exclaimed. Lin Xian blasted away the weapon fragment and sneered. "Now you still dare to call me an ant? Let's see who's the ant." The heaven-devouring jar shone brightly and swallowed the heavens and earth. It swallowed the tadpoles. 100,000 black tadpoles tried to resist, but they couldn't stop it at all. In this black vortex, there were many existences that were directly swallowed up and were no longer there. No, the black tadpole leader was in despair, and the other tadpoles were also wailing. Even the demon slayer and desolate tomb, people felt their scalps go numb. They didn't expect this kid to have an emperor weapon with him. They were really careless. If they really fought and the other party took out the emperor weapon, they were afraid that they would be doomed. "Retreat, retreat quickly!" The tadpole leader roared crazily, and the others quickly retreated. At the same time, they summoned the emperor weapon fragment back and kept enlarging it. It was like a broken shield resisting. Only then did it block the black vortex. However, he was still firmly suppressed. After all, although the heaven-devouring jar was only half, this half was still intact. The other party was only a fragment of the emperor weapon. The difference between the two sides was too great. It was normal for it to be suppressed. "Go follow." Seeing Lin Xian opening the way in front, the demon slayer, quasi-emperor, and desolate forest people quickly followed behind. They wanted to see what kind of existence was buried in this place. Lin Xian held the heaven-devouring jar and swept it in all directions. The black tadpoles were constantly shattered. Finally, they had no way to retreat. There was no passage behind them. Lin Xian once again created the black vortex and pushed it forward. The black tadpoles all knelt on the ground as if they were worshipping something. Suddenly, the void in front of them split open and a ray of light flew out, directly piercing through the black vortex. It hit the heaven-devouring jar and knocked Lin Xian back. Lin Xian's arm went numb. What was that? It was so terrifying. Was there another fragment? The demon slayer, quasi-emperor, and the others were also stunned. They stopped and looked in front of them in shock. In front of him, there was a dark red shadow floating. What was that? Lin Xian and the others were stunned. However, a low voice came from ahead. Who was it? How dare you disturb my sleep? As soon as the voice came out, the sky and earth shook and the demonic sea boiled. Lin Xian and the others vomited blood. Lin Xian used the heaven-devouring jar to protect his body. However, the others were not so lucky. Cracks appeared on the demon slayer, quasi-emperor's body, and the bodies of the people in the desolate tomb were also torn apart. Even with the ancient coffin this time, they were still seriously injured. These people were crazy. The moment they heard the voice, they were seriously injured. What was that? Even Lin Xian exclaimed. Could it be a real Darch? Was there an earth sleeping here? DeLong also warned, Kid, be careful. This is a real Darch aura, different from that of a quasi-emperor. Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air. As for the demon slayer, quasi-emperor, and the others, they turned around and fled. As a quasi-emperor, the demon slayer, quasi-emperor, knew too well how terrifying a real Darch was. They were undefeatable, so she definitely did not dare to go against them. Since they were here, how could they leave? A bunch of ignorant ants. The low voice sounded again, and the sky fell and the earth cracked. At the same time, the Emperor weapon fragment from before floated up. In addition, a few Emperor weapon fragments also appeared in all directions. Chapter 5546. There were a total of 7 ice fragments floating in the air. Some are big and some are small. The big one was the size of a plate, and the small one was only the size of a finger. However, these were fragments of an emperor weapon after all. They were extremely sharp. No matter how small they were not something that others could contend with. The one in Lin Xian's hand was half the size of a palm. Although it was shaking violently, it still did not fly out. This made Lin Xian puzzled. That's not right. This emperor weapon is not controlled by the great emperor. If the one sleeping in front of him was a great emperor, then even if it was a fragment of an emperor weapon and was suppressed by the heaven-devouring jar, it should fly out instantly. He used his Rinnegan and carefully examined it. He found that other than the one in his hand, there were some other emperor weapon fragments around him. They did not fly into the air either. This surprised him. He found that the fragments contained a lot of demon blood. Could it be that the demon emperor's power was suppressing the other party? If that was the case, then the great emperor sleeping here was definitely not the demon emperor. It was the enemy of the demon emperor. Now he was extremely excited. He finally knew who was fighting the demon emperor back then. At the same time, she was also extremely surprised. These great emperors were indeed terrifying. It seemed that the news about the great emperors that had spread before were just legends. There were actually 2 great emperors that appeared at the same time. Moreover, there was a shocking battle that even the emperor weapon was shattered. More importantly, one of the great emperors was still alive. One had to know that Lin Xian had heard many legends about the great emperors as he grew. The 2 most important ones were that the great emperors were not immortal. They could live for at most 10 to 20,000 years. Moreover, only one great emperor could appear in each era. They stood at the peak of the universe, suppressing the myriad of worlds. But now, all of this was overturned. However, thinking about it, even quasi-emperors rarely appeared in this era, let alone great emperors. Everything about the great emperors were legends. Thinking back to what the extreme Tao weapon had said before, the great emperors did not belong to the human world. They were supreme existences that surpassed everything. How could other people know the details of the great emperors? It seemed that there were many secrets about the great emperors. Lin Xian clenched his fists. He really hoped that one day he could reach this realm. This way, he would know all the secrets of the great emperor. Surrounded by 7 imperial armament fragments, Lin Xian could still be considered calm. However, the people from the desolate tomb were so frightened that they were about to cry. Even the demon slayer, Quasi-Emperor's face darkened. He gritted his teeth and asked, "Are you really a great emperor?" A cold shout came from the front. "How dare you disrespect the great emperor?" He knelt down and kowtowed. The tadpoles roared crazily. That deep voice was also heard. Who would have thought that a quasi-emperor would appear here? Furthermore, your aura is incomparably familiar. Demon Slayer was stunned. In the next moment, he quickly said, "Greetings, great emperor. I am a demon slayer, a martial artist of Mount Eternal." This time, I didn't know the situation and mistakenly entered the great emperor's resting place. I hope the great emperor can spare my life and let me leave on account of Mount Eternal. It's actually Mount Eternal. I was wondering why its aura was so familiar. In front of them, the deep voice sounded again, seemingly a little surprised. When the 3 experts from the desolate hill saw this scene, they hurriedly said, "Great Emperor, please spare our lives. We are also martial artists from the desolate spirit realm. Please have mercy, your majesty. Even the desolate hill has appeared?" The mysterious voice in front of them was even more surprised. However, he snorted coldly. "So what? I don't care about a mere forbidden land of life. Even if your mortal sovereigns were here, I wouldn't care. What's more, you little ants, since you dare to disturb me, you can go to hell." Between heaven and earth, the fragments of the Emperor weapon shone brightly, causing the people from the desolate hill to despair. The demon slayer Quasi-Emperor's pupils constricted. Damn it! Is he not afraid of their forbidden land of life? He doesn't even care about mortal sovereigns. Is the great emperor in front of them really so terrifying? "No, Senior, don't attack us. You have to attack him." The demon slayer Quasi-Emperor pointed at Lin Xian. He said that this person is the demon emperor's inheritance. "Senior, you must have fought with the demon emperor back then. You must be his enemy. Now that the demon emperor's inheritance is here, you must kill him first." The demon slayer Quasi-Emperor pointed his spear at Lin Xian. Obviously, he was planning to shift the blame to the east. As long as Lin Xian and the great emperor fought, they still had a chance to escape. Although Lin Xian was weaker than him, he had the heaven-devouring jar in his hand after all. He could resist for a while, and this time difference was their chance to escape. The demon emperor's successor. Hearing this, the voice suddenly changed, and in the next moment, between heaven and earth, the murderous intent swept through the 9 heavens like raging waves crashing against the shore. Heaven and earth, the 9 heavens and 10 lands, everything was shattering. Even Lin Xian kept retreating. His face turned pale. This was the great emperor's murderous intent. He activated the heaven-devouring jar to the extreme to protect himself. At the same time, he stared at the demon slayer, Quasi-Emperor. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. These guys actually killed with a borrowed knife. If he had the chance, he would definitely make these people regret it. He would send these people to hell. However, the great emperor's murderous intent was really too terrifying. It made Lin Xian's hair stand on end. I didn't expect to meet the demon emperor's successor in this life. I'm so happy. Where's that old fart, the demon emperor? Has he already fallen? But it doesn't matter. He dared to go against me back then. Today, I will make his successor die without a burial place. As soon as the voice fell, the 7 weapon fragments in the sky exploded together and attacked Lin Xian. This was a peerless, murderous intent. Lin Xian didn't dare to be careless in the slightest. He activated the heaven-devouring jar to the extreme to protect himself. It formed a pitch-black vortex to block the attack. He didn't die. He was holding the heaven-devouring jar. The mysterious voice was even more surprised. It seems that not only did you obtain the Demon Emperor's inheritance, but you also had other opportunities. It's just half a heaven-devouring jar. If you were a great emperor, you could still leave. However, you're just a small sage. Don't even think about leaving in this lifetime. Lin Xian's face turned ugly. Suddenly, the 7 weapon fragments flew over again. They didn't attack him. Instead, they flew in all directions. In an instant, the demon slayer Quasi-Emperor screamed. His body was pierced by 3 weapon fragments. Blood stained the sky. He fell from the sky. The 3 experts from the desolate forest also felt their scalps go numb. They were hit by the 4 emperor weapon fragments, and their bodies were shattered. Even the desolate coffin had cracks this time around. There was no other way. No matter how strong the coffin was, it was no match for an extreme weapon. Great Emperor, please spare our lives. They kept kowtowing. However, it was useless. With another attack, the coffin shattered into pieces. They were instantly pierced, and their souls were destroyed. The desolate spirit experts had all fallen at this moment. Chapter 55-47. Everyone in the desolate tomb had died, and the demon slayer was also severely injured. The only one who was not injured was Lin Xian. The demon slayer, Quasi-Emperor, roared angrily and rushed towards Lin Xian. He said, "Kid, let's join forces to fight. Although you have an extreme Dao weapon, your strength is not enough. On top of that, I have the strength of a Quasi-Emperor. If we control the extreme weapon together, we can definitely leave. Otherwise, no one would be able to escape." As he spoke, he had already arrived near Lin Xian. In his opinion, Lin Xian would definitely agree in order to survive. However, Lin Xian sneered and said, "Scram." What? The demon slayer, Quasi-Emperor, was stunned. He couldn't believe it. He gritted his teeth and thought, "Damn kid. Do you want to die together with me? Do you really want to die?" Lin Xian snorted. "I can still survive without the power of a Quasi-Emperor. But without the extreme weapon, how can you survive? Didn't you say that you wanted to kill me? Why are you begging me now? If you want to beg me, kneel down, kowtow to me, and call me Grandpa 3 times. I can consider letting you come over. Do you want to die?" The demon slayer Quasi-Emperor was so angry that his body trembled. Is he slapping me in the face? He was filled with killing intent. Lin Xian was unmoved. "Why? You're not willing? Then get out of my way and die by yourself." As soon as he finished speaking, the emperor weapon fragment in the distance quickly charged over. The demon slayer, Quasi-Emperor, tried to block it, but he was still sent flying. The injuries on his body were even more terrifying. His body had already been shattered into pieces. Lin Xian was also forced to retreat, but with the sky-devouring jar he was not injured. "Damn kid, how much power do you have left? Hurry up and join hands." The demon slayer, Quasi-Emperor, roared at Lin Xian as he recovered his strength. However, he was answered with an attack. Lin Xian used sky devouring and created a black vortex that charged towards the demon slayer. The demon slayer, Quasi-Emperor, was shocked and narrowly dodged. He was still injured. He gritted his teeth. "You're courting death." An extremely terrifying light appeared in his eyes. In the next moment, the immortal energy seed between his eyebrows began to burn rapidly. Go! He was already burning his life, force, and origin energy. She wanted to escape. As for Lin Wuti, he would slowly kill him after it got out. He had to make the other party regret what he had done today. A Quasi-Emperor fighting, with his life on the line, was extremely terrifying. In the blink of an eye, that person managed to dodge the pursuit of the Imperial armament fragment. He was about to escape. At this moment, Lin Xian sneered. "You still want to leave? Stay with me. He unleashed his power and unleashed a peerless attack. The heaven-devouring jar flew over. An entire world was swallowed up by a black vortex. At this moment, the power of the heaven-devouring jar was extremely terrifying. Damn it, you dare to stop me? Go to hell! Sensing the power of this extreme weapon, the demon slayer Quasi-Emperor went crazy. Where did Lin Wuyi get his strength from? This was probably all of his strength. How was he going to protect himself after this attack? But now he couldn't think of anything. Because the heaven-swallowing jar had swallowed him, he could only temporarily avoid the attack and retreat. In the next moment, his face darkened. Damn brat, he was filled with killing intent. Lin Xian sneered. Why? Did you guys think that this day would come when you were trying to shift the blame to someone else? If I can't leave, you can't leave either. Then what do you want? Do you really want to die here? Lin Xian sneered. Kneel down, kowtow, call me grandfather and give me your power. I can let you leave alive. Dream on. The demon slayer, Quasi-Emperor, roared. The mysterious voice in front was also angry. Two ants, do you think that I don't exist? The power of the barren ancient coffin, the indestructible power, and the power of the demon emperor's inheritance are enough to help me break the seal. At this point he roared, and the fragments of the imperial armament flew in all directions. They enveloped the 8 ancient coffins and brought them over. At the same time, they charged towards the demon slayer Quasi-Emperor and Lin Xian. The demon slayer Quasi-Emperor screamed and wanted to retreat, but he realized that this time he was targeted by a great emperor. No matter how strong he was, he couldn't escape. His body was penetrated and he flew forward uncontrollably. Damn brat, why aren't you making a move? He looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian's face was cold, but he didn't make a move. He was waiting. He was waiting for the demons to die. The demon slayer Quasi-Emperor of Mount Eternal. He had to kill him with a borrowed knife. As for this great emperor, Lin Xian could tell that this great emperor had been sealed. It was very likely that the demon emperor had sealed him. Therefore, Lin Xian waited until the moment Quasi-Emperor Zhu Mo died and immediately activated the illusion demon scripture. A demonic shadow appeared behind him. The demon slayer in front screamed crazily. As a Quasi-Emperor, his strength was incomparably terrifying, but he didn't expect to die at this moment. In despair and unwillingness, she turned into a bloody mist. Next, it's you, the successor of the demon emperor. Once again, a cold laughter rang out in the sky. The 7 monarch weapons instantly charged forward. At the same time, there was an even more terrifying great emperor's aura. He could tell that Lin Xian was the most difficult one to deal with. Although his cultivation was the weakest, he had half an extreme weapon. Lin Xian resisted while using the illusion demon scripture with all his strength. The sky-devouring jar blocked the imperial armament's fragments and made a clanging sound. Lin Xian kept retreating. At this moment, the demonic shadow behind Lin Xian suddenly appeared. As soon as he appeared, he roared at the sky and looked in all directions. Then the power of the entire demonic sea was mobilized by him. It was as if he had turned into a demonic realm, suppressing below. The mysterious great monarch bellowed furiously, "Damn it, you're courting death. No one will be able to seal this emperor." He quickly absorbed the power of the ancient barren coffin and the inextinguishable power. Under his control, the 2 forces turned into 2 sabers. One was the inextinguishable saber, and the other was the desolate saber. They slashed at the ground below. The saber swept across, and a bright light swept in all directions. Intense collisions sounded. The entire demonic sea shook violently. Don't even think about it. Suppress it. Demonic seal. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms, and the demonic shadow behind him also quickly attacked. The power of the demonic sea was mobilized by him, forming a boundless demonic seal. 36 black demonic world monuments appeared between heaven and earth, suppressing the world. There was no way Lin Xian would let him out. The mysterious Great Emperor let out a crazy roar. Counterattack! Kill him! After the 100,000 black tadpoles received the order, they quickly rushed over. They turned into black bolts of lightning and charged at Lin Xian. This time, endless sword light rushed out of Lin Xian's body and slashed in all directions. Anything that came close was split apart by the power of the great dragon sword soul. However, this time, the black tadpoles seemed to have gone crazy. Even if they died, they would not retreat. In the end, they covered the sky like a black flood and swallowed Lin Xian. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.